The land of the five rivers.
Raiders!
2 years ago, when we came to Los Angeles, I really believed that the greatness of the Raiders would be in its future.
We back. Man, you already know what time it is.
Oh, you didn't know?
50-50.
Yes, sir.
Welcome to the 50-50 Show with PharoahNFL and the Severe Raider, the realest show for Raider Nation.
The perpetuation of the greatness of the Raiders to take a professional football team and give it a distinct characteristic that's different from all others.
Make sure to clock in, like, comment, subscribe, and hit that notification bell.
Man, you already know what time it is, man. It's the 50-50 Show with myself, PharoahNFL. Obviously, my guy, the Severe Raider, in the building. We are going live on both our channels, so make sure to clock in. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell. We got a lot to talk about as usual. You know, the Raiders always keep it interesting, and man, we got Pete versus Chip, and then then you start thinking about it, and you start thinking 3D chess, and you be like, hey, where does Brady come into the equation here? Because he's like, you know, is he part of the reason why, you know, Chip's in the building? We're gonna get into that conversation. Obviously, recent reports talking about a lot of the things that went wrong this season. Obviously, you know, Chip Kelly, he was fired last week. We got into that, but we're hearing more of what went wrong and how it went wrong from Ian Rapoport and guys like that. Tom Pelissero, I think he was the first one to talk about it. We kind of looked at it as like, oh, okay, there might be some truth to it, but then it sounded like it was a little pro Pete Carroll. And then Ian Rapoport came out with his report, and it was a little bit pro Chip Kelly, but there's some things in there I'm like, huh, it kind of makes sense. You know what I mean? Yep. I mean, from what we're seeing on the field, like there's some certain things that did make sense. So we're gonna get into that. Obviously, flag on the play, all that good stuff. Notable quotables, all that good stuff. Stay tuned for that. We'll get into that and all that good stuff, man. Raider Way in the building, man. Appreciate you coming through, man. He just salute. Put the thumbs up, man. Salute, man. Definitely clock in. Yes, it's definitely time, man. You know what? Hey, Raider Way, we're just gonna have to give you one of these, man.
First of all,
nah, man. I don't know how to take that, but hey, my guy Raider Way in the building, man. Appreciate you coming through. Zamir turned into Pete Carroll. We were promised. Hey,
I know, man.
You gonna have to take that. You gotta take that up with the guy, man. My guy.
I know, man.
Zamir.
Yeah, I know. So man, it was crazy because somebody broke into my car on Sunday. So like my whole Sunday, my son had a workout that morning, and then somebody broke into my car.
Damn.
I was off. So I didn't go to the tailgate. I didn't link up with nobody that was out here. Nothing. I didn't do anything.
Damn. That's all bad. That's all bad. But hey, but you didn't miss anything as far as the game. So
I still watch most of the game.
But you ain't missed nothing. I was like, okay. You still watch the game, but you didn't obviously partake in the festivities and stuff like that. I got you.
I was trying to. I was more worried about kicking it with the folks than I was about watching that game.
Yeah, you're not for real. That's some real stuff right there. Yes, sir. Night Crew is in the house, man. Appreciate you pulling up. Daniel Kim in the building, man. Appreciate you pulling up. My guy Brim in the building. We got everybody pulling up today. Franklin was good. I got you, man. This is probably your theme song, man, for real.
hell no. No.
Every time Raider Way come through, man, that's gonna be your theme song. TK in the building, my guy, man. Hey, so guess what? I'm glad you pulling up. And I know I told you this like a couple weeks ago, and I told everybody if like the last couple weeks, like we're gonna bring in. We're going to have the call-in show. And guess what? Today is going to be a call-in show. I'm going to put up a number. So if you guys want to, at some point, call in, chop it up, let us know what your thoughts on the season, what the Raiders can do, obviously, to improve the team. And anything Raider-related, obviously, call in, and we'll be here to chop it up. So just keep it respectful. What rules should we put it like? I'll just say, just keep it respectful, man. It's just simple.
Keep it respectful.
Come on, man. At the end of the day, like, yeah, man. It's really that simple. Man, you in the building, man. Appreciate you pulling up, man. Everybody pulling up, man. Raiders 98 in the building. Raider Vic in the building. Salute. Thank you for the. Hey, man, it's all good, man. Appreciate you pulling up. Myra in the building. All right, I got you. Appreciate you pulling up. Man, we got everybody pulling up today. Next season, Raiders definitely need to find a good offensive coordinator. Raiders can get the momentum going. I think they might need more than an offensive coordinator, to be honest with you, man. But, we'll get into that in a little bit. Severe, I blame it on Gino. Yeah, hey, man.
Man. It's probably was some crusty lip Gino looking, to be honest. I didn't even know at that point, Daniel Kim, to be honest with you. We had the workout, and then I didn't even know. It happened while we were doing the workout. So the workout probably didn't finish till like 12:31. So yeah, I didn't even, at that point, I didn't know until like I got back to the car. It was crazy. They didn't take anything valuable, bro. They took like, it was like some cracks. Like, ever see Dave Chappelle where it's like when he broke the window like to take a chocolate bar?
Some crackhead
take
stuff.
The chocolate bar sitting on the seat.
Yeah. It's probably some crackhead stuff. But sometimes, like, if you leave like a backpack, it's almost like, or like anything of valuable. If they see something, like it's damn near wraps. But sometimes it's unavoidable because like you said, crackhead's gonna do whatever they want to do at that given moment. LS in the building, man. Appreciate you pulling up. He says, Pete trying to trick y'all, playing a few rookies on offense to pretend like it was all on Chip, but he gave himself away by not really playing any rooks. You know what's funny? Caleb Rogers, I seen somewhere he had the highest rated PFF grade. You know, he did play like 17 snaps to Mafi 30 something snaps. I'm got to get the correct number. I think it was around 30 snaps. So, and they were like kind of rotating in. So take that for however way you want to take it. But man, they made it seem like it was going to be all bad. And I'm not saying that it was perfect for a guy like Caleb Rogers, but at the end of the day, like, it doesn't matter. You're 2-10. Let them make mistakes. Let them get them reps in. I don't care. At 2-10, I don't want to see guys that are not going to be here next year. I don't want to see 1 year guy. I want to see I want to see players that can possibly contribute to the team in the future. And if they can get valuable experience now, then it makes sense. But, you know, a guy like Pete Carroll, he's been tunnel vision all season, even when it was kind of obvious, like early on, like not even like I would say, but at 2-7, come on, man. At 2-7, you're still having a hard time putting rookies out there or putting young players out or giving them snaps, like and guys not even not named Caleb Rogers, like a Darian Porter who flat, like I don't know what his issue is. It's so weird. It's like
I don't get it, bro.
And you got Kelly out there who's getting like, man, like he's getting abused out there.
Interception machine, Caillou Blue Kelly, bro.
And he's gonna use that. He's gonna use those type of plays. Like you see that
interception machine.
But it's funny though. He got that interception, but that drive was brought to you by him. Like literally, there was a few plays that he gave up in order for them to get down there in the red zone. But obviously he got an interception, so I'm not gonna take that away from him. But
it was crazy because I just got done. But like, man, they really bullying Caillou Blue Kelly out here. And then like 3 plays later, he gets a pick. I'm like, oh damn.
Yeah. It is what it is. I mean, I kind of bought into like, oh, okay, maybe Greg Olsen could possibly, you know, provide a spark, you know, different play caller, you know, he's probably going to do some certain different things. I mean, it's going to be the same offense, but just, I think there was like an emphasis on protecting the quarterback and like making sure the protection was good, but it didn't matter at the end of the day. Like the results are the same. Man, Brock Bowers, bro.
Yeah, man.
That dude, man, I'm glad the Raiders got him because he's the best tight end in that. I would say it was perfect timing too, as far as his first year in the league, because there's a couple of players that have been probably at the top of their position, like that Mark Andrews, who are hurt. You know, guys like old boy from San Francisco, Kittle. He was hurt though last year too, and then you could probably say he's probably take a step back a little bit. And then we all know that I know he's having like a resurgence here, Kelsey, but he's not the same player. He's not like, and his first 2 years in league, bro, he best tight end in the NFL, man. Like, I don't know, he's just proving it and what makes it so good is like, damn, like we're talking about how bad the offense is, how bad the quarterback play is, but the fact that we can see a guy like Bowers like just make the type of plays he's making, he like, damn, like this dude is really like the best player at his position, but the Raiders are still 2-10. You know what I mean? That's the reality.
It's him and McBride. Are like the 2 best in the league right now.
Yeah. I mean, do you feel like it's close, or do you feel like?
I would give it because Brock is. I mean, McBride is a hell of a weapon too. Like we don't see him all the time because he plays in Arizona, but it's Brock. It's pretty clear. I mean, like I said, I would say this. I think it's close, but it's clear. That makes sense. Where it's like, you know what? McBride is there, but it's still clearly Brock Bowers.
Yeah. All right. So I'm gonna put up the number on the screen just to give y'all a heads up, and then we'll see how this goes. Let's see here. Boom. I guess I'll put it right here. Boom. All right, boom, there you go. So that's the call number, 856-209-5978. Again, the number is 856-209-5978. Call in with your thoughts, man, what you think about the game. Obviously, where the Raiders are at currently at draft position right now. They're 4th overall. Last week they were at I think they were 5th. Now they moved up one spot. Once, they
Thank you,
inched
Jets.
closer to getting that number 1 spot. They got a good chance. Well,
Thank you, Jets.
I want to say a great
I'm
chance.
an upset pick. Did I have an upset pick on the Jets game? Did I have an upset pick on that one?
Yeah,
I know
you
I picked the Jets.
You did get the upset pick on them. I think I got the Texans on the upset pick.
Yeah, so I didn't know. See, if I know CJ Stroud was playing, I would have picked the Texans. But
yeah,
that was good. That was a nice one.
And then there was another. There might have been another game too. I'm trying to think. I got to look at it again. But we're jumping ahead, man. NFL picks. Make sure to stay tuned for that around the shield, man. We're gonna get into that. You see how competitive it is, man. We talking about it right now.
Facts.
Oh man, look, this is up Savir's alley right here. You missed that long Genty run for a touchdown. Oh wait, that was Vidal. Yeah, man, it is what it is. I got a question for you, man. I got a question for you because I know you've been obviously critical of Genty and the pick and picking him at number 6 overall. Just to be clear, I think your main issue with it is just the value of taking a running back at number 6.
Exactly.
That's the main thing. That's the main
issue.
That's the main thing. But then like you also said, well, at least if you take a running back at 6, let him have certain attributes or like, certain traits, like, have that ability to take it to the house at any given moment. That's that type of game changing speed, which I understand that. I agree with that too. But at the end of the day, I don't think a great running back can overcome a bad offensive line. Because I was thinking about it, I was like, what great running back that played with a bad offensive line? Maybe average, maybe slightly above, you know what I mean? But like a bad offensive line, I've never. And that's what makes the pick for Genty like, damn, like why would you draft that guy at 6? When you don't have because we all know that the running back position is a very dependent position. Like if they don't got nobody blocking for them, then it kind of takes away their value. You know what I mean? They might be able to be a good player in the pass game, receive, but at the end of the day, like if they're not, if they don't have that ability to run the football, then it's like, damn. Or you don't have that ability to block for them, then it's like, it's gonna be tough.
Yeah. I mean, there has to be some ability to create. And I know like the media loves to be like, oh my, they love to go, oh my God, you should give Genty opportunity in space. You see this guy? Like, yeah, I've seen him in space a whole bunch. And it's nothing over there. Like, hey, does he do running back things that I would expect a professional running back to do at the NFL? Like, yeah, he's not out there looking like, like some JV high school player. But like the ability to create stuff for yourself, or the ability to like, hey, show that burst and acceleration and run past some people, like it's not there, and it's and the creativity is not there consistently. You can see it flash sometimes, and he might make a move and be like, okay, hey, I like that. Oh, that was nice. But then there's 3-4 plays in a row where he could have shown it and he doesn't, and it's like, so it's like, okay, what is the true you? Is it the guy that, hey, okay, that was a nice spin move right there? Is that Genty, or is it this guy that, he lowered his shoulder, or this guy that, he looked like he didn't want no smoke when it was Carson Schlesinger in the hole? Like, is which guy is the real you? And right now it's looking more like the guy that's just, hey, he's a good running back. It's fine. It's a fine player, fine player. Like that's what that's what it's just looking like. It's like, okay, like, you got to show me something in it, because there's opportunities. Now, there obviously our offensive line is trash, like, and so that it's not like they're making a lot of like lanes for him to run through, or they're doing a lot of the work for him. But there's opportunities there where, hey, you know what, he can make a move, he can do something himself to get a big run, and it's just not happening for him. You got a call?
Yeah, hold on 1 second.
No sound.
All right, man. We got Caleb on the line, man. Where you calling from, Caleb?
California.
All right, you calling from California? What's good, man?
Hey, good. How you guys doing?
Good,
Is
man.
Caleb, is this Caleb Rogers? You can talk about your debut.
I wish so. I just called in because my biggest question is that we know like this season's bad and all. My thing is we can't trust Pete Carroll or Geno Smith. So my thing is the worst thing about the season is about the Christian Wilkins stuff, and I feel like there's not been enough information coming out, and I feel like that was just like a whole lie about the situation. So I was wondering your guys' thought on that.
You feel like the whole situation was a lie, like it was made up?
Yeah, like it's just like there's more undercover that they're not saying because you can't really trust them now. I feel like I can't trust Pete Carroll or John Spytek. So I feel like more was under in the building that was announced when he got released.
Yeah, I mean there was not a whole lot of information, but I think something did go down because obviously you hear guys like Adam Butler who talk about mental health as soon as the subject of Christian Wilkins' name came up. So I think there must be something happening in the locker room. And obviously, Christian Wilkins is a good player at the end of the day. Like, why would they want to get rid of a good player? Now, as far as what happened, you're right. Like, we don't have a lot of information, but I don't think that whole situation, as far as I don't think it completely gets resolved until like was it next season, earlier in the season, next season when they have a hearing?
Yeah, because no information came out since the release.
Yeah. And I feel what he says because it wasn't because the way he was released, initially was okay. It's his foot stuff and he's not following through on the rehab and the rehab plan. And then all of a sudden it was just like some more salacious stuff where he was doing crazy stuff in the locker room, and so it's almost similar to what you see with the Chip Kelly situation where it's like, Chip Kelly, he wasn't calling his motions and he doesn't know his plays. And it's like, okay, like none of this was said prior to this, right?
Yeah. Like,
obviously you let me go. We have a bad offense. I'm an offensive coordinator. I'm accountable for this offense. But, like at no point before this did we hear about any issues with the play calling or the motioning or, like not understanding the offense, never before. And now all of a sudden it's this. It's same thing with Christian Wilkins. Just before I bring it up all the time, I brought up that's the reason why we're going to probably lose that arbitration is that just before Pete Carroll was saying, hey, he's doing everything he can do to get back. And all of a sudden you're saying he's not. And then you cut him and you don't cut him. And the reason you cut him isn't because of conduct detrimental. You say it's because of this rehab stuff. But then what leaks is that he was doing this other stuff. Like it could have been a cut and dry situation if you say, oh, you know what, sexual harassment, sexual assault, we had to get him out of the building. It's conduct detrimental, terminate his contract. But you went a different route. So why did you go that route if that's what you really cut him for? So it's like it just doesn't add up.
Yeah, man, it's.
Yeah, my thing it was just bad timing. Like there was the video of him, Alex Bachman, and he was dancing and stuff, and after that he just gets released. So it's just weird how just events happen.
Yeah, man, it's interesting how that whole situation went down. I mean, when you first heard the news, it was like the same old Raiders, as far as just something dysfunctional coming out of their end. But to be honest with you, this is pretty common. As far as when something happens that with the team, there's always going to be reports come out. Do you notice like the reports never come out when the players are on the team and the team is winning, but when they have to make a move or they fire a guy or they let someone go, all of a sudden we hear who?
So there always has to be a blame on someone.
Exactly. There's always a scapegoat. There's always them pointing the finger. There's always Ian Rapoport and Adam Schefters and all these insiders. Somehow, some way they have this information. But where are they getting this information? They're getting it from the team. They're getting it from agents. They're giving, you know, at the end of the day. So, yeah, we'll see. We'll see how it shakes out. Hopefully, the Raiders don't have to long term. They don't have to deal with that contract, because I think that's what at this point that's what it comes down to is like, will they have to pay Christian Wilkins moving forward? Because I think that's that's kind of the whole big thing is that they cut him and they also don't want to pay him. You know what I mean? So that's going to be a big thing that we're going to have to keep an eye on, man. But Caleb, man, we appreciate you calling in. Is there any you got any last thoughts?
Thank you for having me. My next question, I just have one more question. How do you feel about the beat reporters? Like, I feel like they're being told like not to ask like the questions you want to hear as fans to Pete Carroll and Geno Smith.
I'm sorry. Repeat that question. I didn't catch it the first time.
Oh, sorry. I said, how do you feel about? I feel like the beat reporters are like too scared or like being told not to ask like the questions we want as fans to Pete Carroll and Geno Smith at the pressers.
Man, you know it's funny. Me and Zamir, we've talked about how like you know since the Raiders moved to Vegas, we feel like I don't know. It just feels like there's not a guy there that is like I don't know how to say it, but like really
confrontational,
like willing,
confrontational, willing to be that guy where like nobody likes, but they're gonna ask the tough
people kind of type of person. Yeah,
exactly. I feel like that's kind of missing.
I feel like
Vegas.
all this is like just like pre-questions, like the pre-ask, like you know, like they're told to ask this and all this.
Yeah, man. Hey, and that's why I got, that's why, you tune in and watch the 50-50 show, Around the Shield, my guy, Severe Raider, obviously myself, because we're going to have the real conversation because we don't care. We called out, we called out the Pete Carroll hire. We said, like, why are you hiring a 75-year-old head coach? Why are you going to put yourself in a corner with an older coach? Because if you lose, what's going to happen? That means, does he want to be here for a rebuild? Doesn't look like he wants to do that. Yeah. So like we talk about we have these conversations no matter if it's in the off season where everybody wants to hear something, they want to hear everything positive in the off season, during the season, like it seems like that's the only time where people want to actually have those tough conversations when things ain't going right. They're going to start asking questions, but we ask these questions as they happen and hopefully that helps. Hopefully that's like the gap that's missing with the beat writers, man. But we appreciate you calling in. Caleb.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, man. All good.
Thank you. You guys have a good night.
Brother.
All right, you too, man.
You too.
All right, man. Good call, man. Appreciate Caleb for calling in. Hey, man. Like that's actually a valid question to really think about, like, because that was kind of the beginning of the end, the beginning of some like we're like, hey, when the Christian Wilkins situation happened, we're like, man, it's almost like we just took a deep breath and we're like, man, like season is pretty much done right here. Like I didn't want to say it, but it was just like, damn, like when something like this happens, it's like, damn, the Raiders are not really good enough to overcome something like that. And to be honest with you, like a guy like Christian Wilkins would have been a big help to this defensive line to help free up a guy like Max Crosby. And, that's a whole... that's a whole different conversation, but that's a valid question. Like you got to question everything now with all these reports coming out and all the dysfunction that's happening in the building with Pete Carroll and Chip Kelly situation, and even Tom Brady. Because for me, I know everybody's going to be focused on, I always look at the top. I like to look at the top. I'm like, hey man, at the end of the day, like that's what it really comes down to, because I know we can look at Pete Carroll and be like, man, Pete Carroll did this and did that, and Chip Kelly did this and that, and Geno did this and that. But at the end of the day, who was the orchestrator of this whole offseason leading up to this point? And to be honest with you, you got to put some blame with Tom Brady, because from what the reports are saying, Chip Kelly was a Tom Brady guy. Chip Kelly was a guy that was hired by Tom Brady, so, and, a guy like Tom Brady, a guy like Pete Carroll, obviously he's won Super Bowls or whatever, but, at this point in stage of his career, he didn't have like a whole lot of options knocking on his door. So he once someone's able to give him an opportunity, the Raiders give him that opportunity, he jumped at that opportunity, even though, he was not going to have that ability to hire his own coaches. I mean, because usually when head coaches, when they build out their staff, there's some type of connection there. There's going to be some type of connection. No one really seen that. I didn't see the Chip Kelly hire come. Like, that kind of came out of nowhere. I didn't see that coming.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't see it come. I mean, they're Pac-10, Pac-12 foes, I guess. But other than that, there was no real connection. Yeah.
And just real quick, man, I know someone was calling in. If you want to call back in, the number's on the screen, 856-209-5978. You see it on the screen, 856-209-5978. But yeah, man, I didn't see the connection with the Chip Kelly hire, but now it all makes sense. There was no connection there. But you could also argue Patrick Graham too. Like, was Patrick Graham kind of forced on him too? That's the situation where he could have just hired his own guy. He could have hired, even though I'm glad, even though I wasn't mad that Patrick Graham stayed, I'm just saying that, just trying to play devil's advocate as far as he didn't really have an opportunity to pick his coaching staff to a certain extent. We all know he hired his sons. Yeah. We all know, we could, all right, that makes sense. He hired his sons. He hired people that he knew and obviously he has a relationship with, which is obviously his own son. But guys like Patrick Graham, that one, at first I'm like, oh, okay, maybe he feels like maybe they should bring back a Patrick Graham. Maybe he feels like he's a good coach, but there's no connection with a Patrick Graham. He could have easily went with a Gus Bradley who was available. Not that I wanted a Gus Bradley. I'm just saying there's a connection there. There's a connection there. Yeah. So it's just a dysfunctional situation with the Raiders, man. And hopefully they can figure it out by the end of the season and they can move on from this whole situation. But some people are saying that they might. They might keep it going with Pete. I just can't see it. I mean, can you see Pete coming back next year?
Can I see it? Yeah, I can. Unfortunately, I can't see it, and I can definitely see that. Yeah, I could definitely feel them rationalizing it, as you kind of said. None of the coordinators he really hired himself. He inherited McMahon. He inherited Graham. Chip Kelly was obviously a guy that had connections to most likely Tom Brady because he was a person that was considered as an offensive coordinator candidate under Antonio Pierce before we settled on Luke Getsy. So that obviously that was somebody else in the building that was intrigued with what Chip Kelly can do. If that somebody was Tom Brady, do I necessarily hate that? Not necessarily. If we were working under the impression that, Pete Carroll has kind of failed at getting good offensive coordinators in Seattle. So, but you want the guy to have that input and to run it by Pete Carroll. And if Pete Carroll if it's going to happen for Pete Carroll to buy in completely, and what happened was that Pete Carroll felt that he had these people, just forced on him. And in return, he forced a whole bunch of position coaches on these people, and he forced them to run schemes that weren't necessarily their schemes. And as a result, it was a complete failure. So, obviously the game, we all know the game has passed Pete Carroll by. We know how we know the game has passed Pete Carroll by, because we talked about, ironically, we talked about George Kittle, there was a when we had the joint practices, right? I wish we get some real, but we had the joint practices with the 49ers, and George Kittle was like, why are they using Max Crosby like this? What are they doing? Lining Max Crosby up in this. I forgot how they what the alignment was of what he specifically said, but he was like, man, why are they using him like this? This just makes my job so much easier if I got to go against them. And this was in a joint practice. private setting where you don't have to worry about cameras or somebody else scouting you. So you can run the stuff that you're going to actually run in real games. And George Kittle was like, this is like some like old, 2012, 2013, like Seattle stuff. Like, why are they doing running this? And, and we kind of said something at the time, but it's like, that should have been our first clue. Like, okay, we may be in some trouble.
Yeah, man. And shout out to my guy, LS, with the super chat, man. He says they discreetly put feelers out at the year's end and gauge interest in hot head coach candidates. If there's no interest, Pete's definitely coming back. Nah, man. I think it's just, I don't know. How can you come back from when he had an issue with putting out the young players? There's too many dysfunctional things happening with Pete for him to come back. That's kind of where I'm at with it. Is like the fact that he's not on it. The fact is, like, we're questioning if he's on the same page with Spytek, meaning playing some of the young guys, especially when the Raiders season is literally like, it's been all bad this entire season. I mean, but the fact is he's had an issue playing young guys, and the guys that he's playing in front of him are not playing well. So it's like, what are you doing? Like, if the guys are not playing, like, it's one thing to be like, okay, the guys in front of the young players, the said young players that were drafted are playing well. So it's like, okay, that'll send the wrong message to the team. But like, what message are you sending when the players are bad? They're playing bad. They're not playing well. And you refuse to play the young guys to get them reps, to get them experience, to get them valuable snaps that they wouldn't get, you know what I mean, during the off season or even in preseason game. So I just feel like that in itself kind of is, I think that's a big strike. And then obviously this is a rebuild. We kind of view it as a rebuild, and I'm not and I don't think Pete Carroll views it the same way. I think he came into the season thinking that he could win, and like he had to find out the hard way. And I just don't think that him and Spytek is a good combination, because I feel like he's gonna try to like, I don't know, go over Spytek's head, or just try to make moves that are favor him. And I know Spytek, at the end of the day, he's a general manager and he has to stand up on his own as far as making decisions. But I just feel like it's just not a good combination. And I feel like it just makes more sense if they get a young guy in there, a young coach, and a coach that would mesh well with a Spytek. It just makes sense for the long-term future for the team.
Yeah, the thing that's the biggest indictment against Pete Carroll is that, like, Pete Carroll, I mean, you could talk about, obviously, Pete Carroll, him not getting along with Patrick Graham or Chip Kelly or Spytek or Brady, right? Like, he's not getting along with anybody in the building. So that that's not related to him or wasn't brought on by him, right? All these other people don't like him. Then, there was the whole Jacoby Myers thing, where Jacoby Myers is a mild-mannered dude. Like, you never hear a peep out of Jacoby Myers. He's always smiling, like, always positive. He's like, yeah, man, y'all got to get me up out of here. yeah, I got to get me up out of here, man. I want to get gone. And reiterated it on several occasions. Like, yeah, man, look, I want to be out of here. And I asked him, like, do you still want to be traded? He's like, oh, for sure. It was like, what? Like, wasn't even a hesitant at all. He's like, oh, yeah, you're damn right I want to be traded, right? And then the Amari Cooper thing, where Amari Cooper took one look around and was like, you know what? I'm good on this, right? And then the Jermaine Pratt thing. And the Jermaine Pratt, right? Jermaine Pratt was, first of all, you hear the rumblings about there being favoritism in the locker room. And then the Jermaine Pratt thing happens where he gets left behind. And, right. You would think that, hey, as a coaching staff and as a team, you guys would present a united front where, hey, we have a next man up mentality. Guys weren't buying in, then this is why we do that. But that's not the route that Patrick Graham took. He took I would love to have him on the team. And guess what? He goes to the Colts. I think he's played 6 games with them. He's already leading them in tackles. So it's like, right. You keep seeing these other things happen. Then the whole Chip Kelly debacle does, hey, and the backbiting there, where they put out the thing that Chip Kelly is calling wrong plays, and then then the other thing comes out where Ian Rapoport is like, yeah, I asked people that played against them, and they're like, yeah, this is the same defense or same offense they were running with Shane Waldron. So it's like you keep hearing all this stuff, and you can in any one of those things you can look at and say, you know what, maybe Pete Carroll shouldn't be back. But know what is the biggest indictment against Pete Carroll is the fact that he thought this team as constructed would be good. And he doesn't know why it's not. Like he keeps saying, man, I thought we'd be so good. I don't know why it's not. I don't know why we can't. Like, bro, if you don't know why if you thought we would be good and you don't know why we're not good, then in the great words of Kanye West, you ain't got the answer, Sway. You ain't got the answers because you don't know why we're not good, and you thought we would be. So it's like, bro, you're not the solution. Get you up out of here because you're not the solution.
Nah, facts. Yeah, man. I think it just makes sense to just clean your hands. Look, they don't even have to put feelers out. There's gonna be someone that's gonna be interested in a job, especially a young guy that is hungry for an opportunity. I would say their best chance is to get a defensive-minded coach. But hey, if the Raiders finish with a top 3 pick, they might have a chance to get one of the top, offensive coaches out there. Because you could probably sell them on the idea of like, hey, we'll draft a quarterback. You know what I mean? And it'll be believable because they have a high enough draft position where you could say, okay, it's not gonna be like, oh, we're gonna find a way to trade up into the top 3, like you know what I mean? That's kind of like, all right, that's not a guarantee, but I just think that I think the Raiders will have some options. I know the reputation is not all the best right now because they've been firing coaches after 1 year, and this would be like their 3rd straight coach that they got rid of. From Josh McDaniels to Antonio Pierce, and now and we're gonna get into Antonio Pierce a little bit later, but and then now you're questioning if you're gonna be firing, Pete Carroll, and he's a respected coach in the league, and like the Raiders got to be very careful. But I'm not gonna lie, man, like it's so bad with Pete where you can argue from a standpoint of like the stuff that I talked about, the fact that he's not on the same page with Spytech, but also do you see a 75-year-old head coach being a part of a rebuild? You could argue that he wants to win now, like, and if this is a younger Pete Carroll, which Pete Carroll has been part of teams where he's built from the ground up, but he's not trying to be a part of that. He's trying to win now. Like he's not waiting. He's not going to be waiting around. He's going to try to take shortcuts, which this team can't afford to do. He's tried to, like Spytech, and I guess people in that building, they're taking a long-term approach to some of the moves. Look at that last offseason. Like they didn't really didn't have a lot of like win now moves. Even Amari Cooper, that was a move that they like, Spytech was like, all right. Carroll. That was a Pete Carroll. I know Pete Carroll influence move, but that was like right before the season, and you could tell like, Spytech was like, oh, okay, all right, let's go ahead and bring him in, even though he didn't really want to do that. He'd rather have the young players get an opportunity to develop because they drafted a guy in the 2nd round. They drafted, some of these guys to have an opportunity, but the only reason that happened, we all know, is because Myers, he requested a trade right before the season. But I just think there's so many things going against Pete that it just doesn't make sense. And the game that he's trying to play right now, he's trying to say that he's trying to play this game where, these coaches were forced upon me. If you give me my coaches, then I'll be able to get this thing going in the right direction. That's kind of like where that's what he's standing on right now. This, like, give me another shot at, or another opportunity to get this right, to get this going in the right direction, and you'll see better results, or at least you'll see it going in the right direction. But when you give me a Chip Kelly who, obviously he's going to point the finger at Chip Kelly. And then you give me the special teams coordinator. That wasn't his special teams coordinator. See, look, think about all the guys that are getting scapegoats. These are all guys that he inherited. Even a Patrick Graham. Patrick Graham could be a guy where he'd be like, hey, well, I didn't get to choose him. And then that's going to be his kind of, I can tell that's going to be his talking point. That's going to be what he's going to be standing on, and why he should be coming back is because he doesn't have his guys. And I've seen it from fans. I've seen it from people, on social media. They're like, oh man, let Chip come back and get his own guys in the building. I'm like, for real? Y'all buying into that? Yeah. I'm like, y'all buying into that for real? Like, come on, man. Nah, let's just get a young coach. Get a young coach that's not going to clash with Spytech. Sometimes you got to create an environment. Like sometimes you got to all right, this is not a good combination. Because even a guy like Pete Carroll, he might do things that are, where he feels like, hey, man, I've been there, done that. I don't need this guy, Spytech, who's been, he's 1 year into the job, tell me what to do. Or I'm not saying that's what's going on in the building, but man, there's some people saying that it's bad. It's real bad. We got guys like Ted Nguyen, I think I seen the other day, saying that it's real bad. I don't know what that means, but you got guys like Lincoln Kennedy saying that, Chip Kelly and Pete weren't even talking.
Yeah.
He heard rumblings like they weren't even talking. I was like, oh damn, all right, man, this is getting worse. Every day, something crazy. We're here just hearing how bad it was. And that's something that you're not going to want to have, especially you want everybody to be on the same page. You want everybody to be on the same page. And I feel like if this is what we're seeing from Pete Carroll at age 75, let's just clean our hands and just, you know what? Let's do this right. Let's get a young coach. I don't care who it is. I said, I threw out a couple of names. I know I've told you about this. Chris Shula, but even Saleh, I wouldn't be mad at Saleh. I mean, he's doing a great job with San Francisco and all the injuries that they had, and he got Cleveland Farrell looking like a Pro Bowler. Cleveland Farrell has 3 to 4 sacks in the last 3 games.
He has 4 sacks, and I think he's only played 5 games all season. 4 with San Francisco. He has 4 sacks.
But I'm not saying that's the reason why you hire him. What I'm saying is that we all know that he's one of the best defensive minds in football. But that's not the reason why you hire him.
Yeah.
It's also a chess move because he also has. If you're going to hire one of these defensive coaches, which you're going to have a better chance of hiring than maybe the top offensive coaches, then okay, who's going to be the OC? He's already coming from the Shanahan coaching tree. He already has relationships with the McVay coaching tree. A guy like LaFleur, who you like with the Rams, is a guy that he had as offensive coordinator as well when he was coaching for the Jets. Or if he grabs a young offensive assistant or coach from San Francisco, I'm not going to be mad at that. So I just think that it's kind of okay, you grab him, but that he's going to be able to grab a good offensive-minded coach from one of these coaching trees. So I think that's a move that, and same thing with Shula. Shula's coming from the McVay coaching tree, so he's going to be able to grab one of those guys from that coaching tree from the offensive side. So that's how I'm kind of looking at it. But I don't want it to be a situation where Brady. That's the one thing that I'm concerned about is I don't want it to be a situation where Brady, and I know you kind of brushed over it a little bit, but I think it's a big deal, man. I don't want Brady picking coaches for the coaching staff. I don't want him to do that. He's already overstepping himself. He's never been in the position that he's been as far as the president of football operations, which is what he's unofficially doing right now with the Raiders. So you're over here picking out coaches, making football decisions for this team that you never really did in your life outside of being the greatest, obviously, quarterback of all time. But that's completely different from actually running a football team. And you can argue that some of the mistakes that happened with this team all come down to Brady. I think that's the big issue is he kind of makes me nervous about the whole situation. I want the GM to be the GM. I want the coach to be the coach. I want the coach to pick his coaching staff. Like, why do we got to do weird stuff where it just seems like the Raiders do things backwards? Everything they do, they make decisions where I'm like, why is this guy making decisions? Why is he trying to? And I understand, like, you trying to make a point where you said, oh, well, Pete Carroll's, I guess he doesn't have like the best, I don't know, history of picking offensive minded or offensive coordinators.
Terrible.
But man, like, but what's worse though is like you picking I think it's worse when you pick a coach and you kind of like set up a situation where no one's on the same page, because everybody got to be on the same page.
See, but I agree there where ideally you don't have somebody picking coaches for your head coach. Ideally, that's not the setup that you have. There's one thing that Brady knows: offense. That's his forte. Like, offensive football is like kind of his lane. He kind of understands how, this offense can work. This style of offense can work. I see the trends. This is the direction the league is kind of going into right now. That's why I'm going to identify a guy that can run that kind of offense. And we'll kind of have a leg up on teams, because we're going to be doing something a little bit different than these other teams are doing. Right. So I think that was the thinking behind that. What happened is that, you can say this is Brady's fault. And I will say, yes, to a certain extent, it was Brady's fault because he set up this dynamic. But you can also say that Pete Carroll did everything he could to ensure that it did not work. So instead of letting your offensive coordinator run his offense with his people put in place to run his offense, the very first thing you did with a head coach that's former offensive line coach, former offensive coordinator who had very impressive lines his entire time, he constructed these lines. When he got to the league, constructed a very impressive offensive line with a great offensive line coach that's still in the league, still highly respected. Instead of letting this guy hire his own people, the first thing you did was you install a yes man as his offensive line coach and run game coordinator. That's the first thing you did. So you immediately, like that's an immediate shot across the bow. That's like the very first thing you do is you disrespect this man, because he loves to run the ball, and he likes input on the offensive line. So the first thing you do is install. You don't get no more of a yes man or no more of a Pete Carroll guy than his own effing son. Like, you can't get more close to Pete Carroll than that. So if that's the first thing you do, you've already established toxicity in this relationship. If that's the first thing you did, you've laid down the gauntlet at that point, and you said it's about to be my way, and I'm about to undermine you at every turn, because that was your first move. Not allowing him to say, Chip, who do you want as offensive line coach? Who are some guys that you're thinking of? Is some guys at Ohio State or some guys from UCLA? Or you have some relationship with some guys? No, the first thing you did was hire your sons. And then as soon as your other son was available, you hired him. The day after he got fired, he had a position on the staff as assistant quarterbacks coach. It's like you've already set the temperature and the tone for your relationship with him. So you've poisoned the well immediately. So it was never going to get better after that, because the first thing you did was slap this man in the face.
Yeah, I don't think Pete went into it saying that I'm going to sabotage this season. I think Pete just was like, I'm going to get my guys in the building that I feel comfortable with. But that's what I'm saying. Like, if the guy, I always, like, if you're in Tom Brady's situation or even Mark Davis' situation, I feel like their responsibility is to create an environment where everybody should be on the same page. And I feel like it starts up top. So if Brady is picking, Brady, he's not looking at it from, I'm sure he's not looking at it as a big deal. Like, I'm going to get Chip Kelly in the building because I feel like this would be a good offensive minded coach for this team. Whatever the reasons were, he felt like it was a good move. But he didn't take into effect that, like, hey, at the end of the day, like, you know, Pete's gonna want to have coaches around him that he's comfortable with, that have the same, I don't know, views on certain things or whatever the case may be. So automatically there's gonna be a situation where it was doomed to fail, in my opinion. And I think I don't know if anybody's seen the former running back for Pete Carroll, Turbin, I think had I think he was able to talk to our guy Q Myers, and that's one of the things that he pointed out was the fact was that, like, he wasn't able to get his guys in the building. And one of the biggest things that you need to have is everybody got to be on the same page. Everybody got to have, like, there's going to have be a level of, like, that being on point before you can even talk about any type of success on the football field. Now, I agree. I'm not taking any type of accountability away from Pete Carroll. I'm not saying that, but it's just, I don't want this to be a trend. I don't want Tom Brady to pick coordinators for like, I don't care who it is. As much as I don't want Pete Carroll as a head coach, because for a lot of different reasons that we've talked about, I don't want this to be a trend where he's picking coordinators for, like, this is a relationship business. At the end of the day, like, these guys got to be able to be on the same page, the same vision, you know, and you're going to have to allow the coaches to pick their coaching staff. Like, just like you're going to have to allow the GM to pick his coach. Yeah. You know, because if you want to be honest, Pete Carroll was a coach that was picked for him. You know, because they were interviewing head coaching candidates before they hired a spy tech. Yeah. So we all know that, okay, this was a arranged marriage between Pete and spy tech. So everything about the Raiders has gone wrong because there's nothing about it. There's no one's on the same page. You got one guy saying that they want this. You got another guy that wants this. I feel like at the end of the day, they just need to get rid of Pete, let Spy Tech lead the way in picking his coach, and let the coach pick his coaching staff. Like, why is Brady this? And that's my concern. Is Brady going to be this type of, a guy in the building where he's going to have his hands in every little thing, but not knowing that this is having a big impact on it? Because there is a report saying that Brady's not happy with the results. Hey, he better be looking in the mirror, because part of the reason why the season went the way it is and how dysfunctional it looks is because of him. He created the problem.
Yes, I mean, he created the dynamic. Who creates the problem is the person that isn't willing or able to adapt to the dynamic. Who is the central figure who is not adapted to any of the dynamics? It's Pete Carroll. Pete Carroll has been the person that's been pushing back. So, like, you can fault, like, if it was Tom Brady's the idea to hire Pete Carroll, then yeah, I mean, definitely this is all his fault. But he's the central figure. He's the person that's been in conflict with everybody around him. It's been him. So, like, if we brought you in, he's been a person that was like, I think we played the quote for Notable Quotables. He talked about the kind of leader he was, and he's a collaborative guy, and he's willing to listen and take on other ideas and other concepts and yada, yada, yada. He said all that, and it was all a load of bullshit, because as soon as you got here, it was your way or the highway with everything. It was your way on defense. It was your way with personnel. It was your way in the draft. It was your way with who we play. It's all of this has been, if you don't do it my way, then I'm gonna take issue with it, and then I'm gonna make it so uncomfortable that you're gonna eventually bend the knee to me, and it's going to be done my way. And that's what happened, right? He essentially set this team up to fail. He with what he's done. He's supposed to be a guy that's supposed to be a CEO coach, where he should be a guy that should be able to, blend all of these different personalities and ideas and make something new and better. That's supposed to be your strength. But he did the opposite. Instead of, hey, you know what? I'm over here. How can I assist Chip Kelly? How can I make your life easier? Patrick Graham, how can I make your life easier? Or what can I lend in my experience to make things easier for you? Instead of doing that, the answer to all of their questions was, oh, you should do it the Pete Carroll way. And not okay, how can I help you do your way better? It's, oh man, the answer to that, well, what's 2 + 2? Oh man, that's Pete Carroll. What's 3 × 3? Oh man, that's Pete Carroll. What's 8 + 8? Oh, it's Legion of Boom. Like, it's always just your way. Instead of trying to help these guys make a new way or do their way, he's just like, oh, I'm going to install my way through the back door. And that's what he did when he hired Greg Olsen as quarterbacks coach, when he hired Nathan Carroll as assistant quarterbacks coach, when he hired Brendan Carroll as offensive line coach, run game coordinator. Chip Kelly is a run game coordinator. That's literally what he does. That's what he's done best since he was at Oregon, is coordinate the run game. And you took that away from him and you gave it to somebody that at every step they've been at has done it worse than Chip Kelly has done it. Brendan Carroll did the worst in the NFL. He did the worst in college. But instead of empowering Chip Kelly to do the one thing that he does better for sure than anybody on that staff, you gave it to your son. Bro, you set the tone and you let everybody know this is how it's going to be. And you destroyed any type of trust right then and there.
Right. I hear you. And I agree with some of the things that you're saying as far as him hiring his son. I didn't agree with that. But at the end of the day, like, the head coach has a vision on how he wants to build a football team. He has a philosophy on how he wants to build his football team, the vision of how his team is going to look like. And if he doesn't have autonomy, if he doesn't have like the ability to bring in guys that he feels like fits in with his philosophy, then it's going to doom. To be honest, it's going to be doomed to fail, because there's going to be an issue. There's going to be a button of heads, which we've seen with Pete Carroll. It's like with Pete Carroll and Chip Kelly over the season. And yes, Pete Carroll is to blame for the Raiders looking the way they've been looking this entire season, but also he didn't hire Chip Kelly. That's not a guy that I'm not sure if he would have hired if it was up to him. Like, we can't say that without a doubt. From the results and the fact that, like, he's been sneak dissing them, and from the fact that it's like we've never seen Pete Carroll fire coordinators ever in his entire coaching career. We've never seen him fire coordinators, and the guys that he fired were guys that he had no connection to. He didn't have no, he inherited a special teams coordinator. He obviously, we all know Chip Kelly was a Brady guy, so like, I know that I'm kind of sounding like I'm defending I'm defending Pete Carroll, but at the same time, I'm more focused on, like, how is this going to look like in the future? Is this going to be the standard? Is Tom Brady going to have a say on who is the defensive coordinator, who's the offensive coordinator for the head coach, who already has a vision on how he wants to build his team? Like, allow him to. It don't matter who it is. It could be Pete Carroll. It could be Mike Tomlin. It could be, Chris Shula, Clint Kubiak. At the end of the day, these guys are going to be coming in and they're going to want to build the team based off the vision they have or the philosophy they have on building their own football team. And if a guy like Tom Brady is going to chime in on who comes into the building, then you're kind of messing up that vision. You're going to have a guy in the building that maybe they didn't really consider as a guy that they would want in the coaching staff, or a guy that they would want to work with, because maybe for whatever reason there's going to be a difference in philosophy. And we obviously see that with Pete Carroll and Chip Kelly this entire season. There's a certain way that probably Chip Kelly wants to run his offense, and obviously there's a certain way that Pete Carroll wants to run his offense. Like, I just think at the end of the day, it all starts with that Tom Brady situation. I think is bigger than it's bigger than Pete Carroll. Because if Tom Brady is going to continue to do this, then we're going to probably see some form of dysfunction with the next coaching staff and the next coaching staff. If he's going to constantly trying to, coming here and trying to pick, let Spytek pick the GM, pick the head coach, let the head coach pick his coaching staff. It's really that simple. I don't know why the Raiders, for whatever reason, they're just doing everything wrong. And I you know what? If you want to look, and I'm always going to be the guy, I guess, that's always going to point the finger at Mark Davis. It all starts with him at the end of the day, because who's empowering a former quarterback, an all-time great quarterback, to make decisions that he's never had to make before? It's Mark Davis. It starts with him. And now, basically Tom Brady is learning on the job, and he's going to be obviously he's going to make mistakes because he's never had to do this. So he's learning as he's going on and, being a part of the football team. We all know he's a minority owner, but we all know that he's been empowered in that building. I'm just more concerned about Brady and that whole situation. We could talk about how bad Pete Carroll is and what were they thinking hiring a coach. Look, why would they whose idea was it to hire a 75-year-old coach? Whose idea was that?
Yeah, I mean,
Pete didn't just hire himself. Pete just didn't show up and be like, "Hey, this is my job. All right, I'll see y'all tomorrow." That didn't happen, right? So that's all I'm saying. He hired this guy. Yeah. Obviously, Pete accepted the job, but he assumed that Pete Carroll was just going to adhere to everything that whatever was said in that interview. Because I'm sure come on, they had to be realistic with where the roster was at. Yeah. How long it was going to take to build this team and to add more talent to this team. If you brought up a good point about Pete Carroll, you said, man, he had the audacity to think that this was a football team that he was going to be able to win with, and how he was surprised. But I think it'll be even bigger problem if the guys that above him think that it was good enough to win football games. Come on, these are the guys that's supposed to be building, adding talent to the building. Hey, you can talk about Spytek. You could talk that speaks to Brady. Yeah, it's just, I feel like the issues with the team are kind of bigger than just Pete Carroll, man. And as time goes on, we're gonna hear more stuff coming out of Vegas. More, Brady tucked us again, man. Facts, bro. But no one wants to have this type of conversation because it's kind of depressing. Though I ain't gonna front.
Yeah. I mean, that was Mark and Brady who hired the firm, or I mean, I don't know. I mean, it might have been the other ownership as well. But I mean, we keep going in the circle where, you know what, we keep saying we wanted Mark to hire a football guy to run football things. And then we're like, oh man, then we want to criticize the guy he hired to run football things. And we want Mark Davis to step in and say, don't run football things this way. So it's we can't, like I keep saying, you can't have it both ways, where it's all right, Mark, we want you to hands off the wheel, step back, let the football people do the football stuff. But then when he does let the football people do the football stuff, come on, Mark, how you letting this guy do all of this? How are you empowering this football guy to do these football things? Didn't we tell you we didn't want you involved with the football? Well, now we want you involved with it.
Hey, real quick, I just had someone call in. I actually hung up. If you could call back again, my bad, man. You see the number on the screen, 856-209-5978. I actually hung up. Just call back. But yeah, go on, Zamir. My bad.
Yeah. So I mean, if you think that Tom Brady was a bad person, was a bad selection, okay, you can put that on Mark, because I have my question. I wanted Mark Davis involved in the organization as a part-time owner. Did I necessarily believe he should be the guy as the head of football operations? Not necessarily, but he's a football guy who's been in the league, who has connections, all that stuff, and that's what we've been saying. We want somebody that's a football person to run the football side of things. So now that we actually have somebody doing that, we want Mark Davis to step in and kind of override them. When we've been saying this whole time, Mark Davis, you're not a football person. You've said on numerous occasions you really don't know football. Why you keep getting in the way of, or keep putting your hands on the football stuff? Leave that alone. So now he's leaving it alone, and we're saying, hey, you know what? We want you back involved. So we gotta let that take its course.
Yeah, man. Hey, what's good? Hey, we got smoke Smoke in the building, man. Hey, Raiders Smoke, man. Let the people know where you from, man.
Man, yeah, area, man.
What's good, bro?
What's good?
Yeah. No, what's up, guys? How you guys doing?
Pretty good, bro. What's on your mind, bro?
Guys, man, I just want to piggyback on everybody's pretty much saying. I just never really liked the Pete Carroll hire to begin with.
Yep.
I felt like there wasn't really a vision. I mean, you hire a 73, 74-year-old coach. It just seems like there's no real vision. I mean, going forward, if that was the case, I mean, just hire a young coach. You know, I feel like, you know, the GM, I feel like Spytek really didn't really give him a chance and let him pick his coach and kind of build the team that he wants to build. You know what I mean? I feel like Pete Carroll's kind of had a little bit too much say-so, and it's kind of set us back. And I don't know, man. I don't know where we go from here. I don't know do we look at a Mike Tomlin maybe if he gets let go? Or, you know, I feel like it kind of set us back a little bit, you know?
Nah, I hear you, bro, because I think exactly what you said, man. Young coach, man. That's where I'm leaning at, because I'm looking at this as like a rebuild. So and you got Spytek, who's a young GM who wants to like probably start making some moves to build his football team, and he needs someone in the building that's going to be on the same page with them. And I think he can get a young coach that's going to believe in his vision, and that's going to happen if he's allowed to pick his coach. But you said an interesting name in Tomlin, and there's a lot of like noise coming out of Pittsburgh saying that you know the fans are kind of like they want to push him out of there, you know, and you know Pittsburgh Steelers fans, they're kind of spoiled, you know. They don't know what they feel like the grass is greener on the other side, man. Hey, man, but they don't know what it is. They don't know how it feels to be a Raider fan and be a fan of some of these teams that where like you don't have a head coach, you know what I mean? You don't have a good coach, and you like literally Tomlin has never had a losing season. He's never had a losing season. And the fact that like, you know, the Raiders, if they have an opportunity to bring Tomlin, I can't say no, but I'm just like, man, like, I don't know how you feel about this, Zamir, but there's a part of me I'm like, man, let's just get a young coach and just see how it goes. But then Tomlin, how could you say no to him? Because it could be a situation with Tomlin where a change of scenery could be good for him. Same thing would happen to old boy Andy Reid. Andy Reid with Philadelphia had a lot of success with Philadelphia, but then towards the end, you know, kind of like, you know, lost his touch or whatever the case may be. It didn't end well, but then he goes to the Chiefs, and the rest is history. I mean, what's your take on that, Zamir, as far as Mike Tomlin or going towards a younger coach?
No, it's crazy. We talk about going for a younger coach, but Mike Tomlin is only 53.
Yeah,
bro, we can hire Mike Tomlin in 2045, and he'd still be younger than Pete Carroll. Still be younger than Pete Carroll, bro. Think about that. Think about that. We can wait 20 years to hire Mike Tomlin, and he'd still be younger than the coach we have now. That's insanity, bro. That's insanity. So we like, and Mike Tomlin is, I don't know, people, you know, we're so used to like, hey, we want the new thing, we want the flashy thing, you know, and that could work out for us. That could work out famously for us. You know, it could be, we can get McVay, or we can get, you know, the Mike McDonald, or you know, it can work, or you know, Kevin O'Connell. It can be that situation, or it can be Cliff Kingsbury with you know, with the Cardinals. Feel me? So like, it's not always the correct answer. You know, you kind of gotta weigh. You gotta weigh your options right there. Mike Tomlin is established. We know what he brings to the table. We know he's going to establish the culture. We know he's going to figure out a way to win, whether he has a quarterback or not, because he hasn't had a quarterback since he had Ben Roethlisberger. This dude went undefeated. Oh my, I say he went undefeated with Justin Fields as his quarterback. Think about that. He went undefeated with Justin Fields as a quarterback. When the starts that Justin Fields had, they didn't lose any of them. Think about that. Look at Justin Fields.
Right.
And think this guy won games with that. So, like he's a guy that for sure he can win. And he's adaptable, But, on the other end, on the other side of things, what has been his problem, his biggest problem, and we say kind of the number one job of a head coach is what? Your ability to hire a staff. And if we bring Mike Tomlin in here, what does that leave the door open to? Oh, Mike Tomlin, you've been kind of bad at hiring offensive coordinators, right? Tom Brady got this. Tom Brady, go ahead and pick the offensive coordinator. You feel me? That's what you kind of leave open the door for. So I can see it from both sides of it. But bro, I wonder how many years in a row would Tomlin have to have a losing record for him to equal the same amount of losing records we've had since he was a head coach? It had to be at least like 8 or 9 in a row. So like he's a guy that's established. We know what he brings to the table. Now, is he going to take us to our ceiling? Maybe not. But, he's a guy that we know what Mike Tomlin does. And that's put together winning seasons.
Yeah, man. The only thing, I guess the more I think about it, I think this is what the issue I have with Mike Tomlin, with the Raiders. There really isn't there's not going to be a negative to bringing Tomlin other than he's just going to be another guy that's coming into the building and he's going to have all the leverage in the world. I mean, like, he's going to want GM power. Like, he's going to have the ability to sign, draft. He's probably going to strip whatever power that Spytek has, he's going to take. Just because he's built that over the years, and obviously he's a Super Bowl winning coach, and the fact that he's won. And on top of that, like, why would he even consider the Raiders? Yeah. Like, we're all talking about a rebuild.
Now, does he have that power in Pittsburgh?
Yeah, but I'm not sure what it is in Pittsburgh, but I will say this. He's been there for a while, but I think him being there for a long time, I think him being in the open market, he's going to have options.
Yeah.
Or he's going to have options with situations where I'm not going to lie, that already have a maybe established quarterback or a young quarterback, or where probably maybe a better situation than the Raiders. So why would he pick the Raiders is my point. And on top of that, even if he picked the Raiders, it's just going to go back to that situation where we don't want a coach with that much power. We want the coach to be the coach. I mean, that's how I feel. About it, but yeah. I don't think a lot of coaches want that ability to have a lot of say on roster. They want to have that roster control. They want to have what John Gruden had when he was the Raiders coach, when he had that 10-year contract. I just feel like the Raiders are just going to go back to doing that again.
Yeah. But the problem with that argument is, why would any coach choose the Raiders? Why would any coach voluntarily say, you know what?
A young coach
I want some
would.
of that.
A young coach would.
Why? Why would he?
Because there's 32 jobs in the NFL. Severe.
And know what? And guess what? There's a new one open every year. There's a new one open every single year. And so if you're going to be selective, am I going to go to the franchise that has consecutively fired coaches after 1 year, knowing full well that they don't have the roster to win? So if I brought it up before, it took Dennis Allen. He was bad he was a bad head coach, period, right? He was a bad head coach, period. But he failed in his first tenure. And it took him how long to get a second job? Steve Spagnuolo still hasn't gotten a second job. No, it remains to be seen how long it's going to take for Cliff Kingsbury to get a second job. These guys, if you fail in your first time, because people are going to always point to, man, like, that guy, he was 5-12 with the Raiders, or why you want him over here? You see what he did over there? He couldn't even, and they're not going to add context to it. as we know, people don't add context to numbers on the paper. They just see the paper and the numbers, and they say, "Oh man, he did this. That's bad. That's bad. This dude's he's a failed head coach." So you have the stench of being a failed head coach on you until you go somewhere and prove that you're not. And you may not do it. You may not prove that you're not a failed head coach. Has Gus Bradley gotten a second head coaching job?
No, I don't think so.
He actually had some success, right?
He was with the Jaguars for a little bit, and that's
he was with the Jaguars. I think he's been in DC ever since. Right? He's been in DC ever since.
Fellas, quick question though.
Go ahead, Big Duck.
Severe, my bad. Quick question, real quick. So, what do you think about these Raider fans that are like saying, we got to give Pete Carroll another couple years and maybe, because the roster and this and that. I mean, I'm the type that, I'm looking at it like you got to cut ties with him right away after the season's over and start fresh. I mean, you got to, and I don't think Matt's going to get traded, but even if you could get something for him, get a couple picks and just kind of blow this thing up again, because
facts.
I mean, like you said, man, we touched on it already. Like, Pete Carroll's already 73, 74, whatever he is. Like, you're going to be back ground zero again in a couple years when he does retire and leave. It's like we're taking a step forward and then 5 steps back. You know what I mean? So, you think he stays a couple more years, or do you think that's kind of a one and done?
Look, man, to these fans that want to give Pete Carroll a couple more years, Jesus Christ might not give Pete Carroll a couple more years, bro. Like, he might not give Pete Carroll a couple more years. So how are we about to give him a couple more years, bro? It's like, I'm cool. Like, look, I was one of those people before stuff came out. I was like, we can't just keep cycling through with head coaches and doing this over and over again. But it's just like Pete Carroll has done such a terrible job of just the relationship aspect of being a head coach. Not even necessarily what's happening on the field by itself. That alone was disgusting enough to get most people to say he got to go. But how he's handled the coaching dynamics and the front office dynamics, like, we can't bring him back. We can't bring him back.
Nah, yeah, we can't. I was gonna say crack kills, man. For the people who think that he should come back, man, crack kills. But nah, yeah, like we talked about, man. We've been critical about the move since day one. Obviously, his age. It's like, I think it's just sometimes it's good to look at history, and when you find out that he's the oldest coach in NFL history, like, that right there should give yourself a little bit of pause where you be like, I don't know if I should do this. I don't know if I should do this move, because I don't know why, but what are you? Let me ask you this, Smoke. What are you more concerned about? You concerned about the Raiders head coaching position, or are you concerned about who's picking the head coach?
I'm more concerned about the head coaching position. I mean, look at, it's one thing if we're losing, and like with Antonio Pierce, we were losing, right? But those guys were actually putting in. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you, bro.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, what I was saying was, like, at least with Antonio Pierce, their team was actually putting in the effort, and you could see it on the field.
Mm-hmm.
It's one thing to lose and to, have these guys ball out and get everything they got. But with Pete Carroll, I mean, you could just, the product's on the field already. You could see it, man. Like, these guys are not even playing for him. And then on top of that, if you're going to start, put the young players in anyways, just see what they got.
Yeah.
And he already fumbled that already. So I just didn't like it from the beginning, how he handled the whole JPJ thing. And it just it's been a domino effect since then. And I just think that, at least let Spytek pick a coach, and let him do his thing and see if we can turn things around.
Nah, for sure, man. And just to give you, to your point, Pete Carroll has lost 10 games so far this season. 7 of those games he's lost 10-plus points. 5 games, 17-plus points. So he's getting, like, that, to your point, like, the Raiders are getting blown out. Like, it's not even close. Like, they're the Raiders, and we see it we're seeing it every week. It's not competitive. And I think early in the season we talked about like Tom Brady sitting down for an interview. One of the things he said in an interview was like, at some point in the season, he said near Thanksgiving, teams either get better or they get worse, and the Raiders are getting worse. Yeah. So he's gonna have a big decision. He's gonna be a part of that decision-making process of bringing Pete Carroll. I don't think he comes back for a lot of different reasons that we talked about. Hopefully they get a young coach in the building. We'll figure that out, man. Hey, Smoke, man, we appreciate you calling in. People blowing up the lines, man. Appreciate you coming. Hope all is well, man. I know you're doing your Tiger Woods thing out there, man. So hopefully,
Man, I'm trying, man. But hey, real quick, man, I love what you guys are doing, man. Thank you guys for everything, and you guys about to smoke out of retirement, man. The only people that could do it, you guys, man.
Oh man, appreciate it, man. Appreciate
you guys, man.
You too, bro. Take care, bro.
All right, you too.
My guy, Smoke. Raiders Smoke in the building, man. Appreciate it calling in. Hey, everybody calling in. The line's open. Call in number is 856-209-5978. We appreciate everybody coming through and calling in. Everybody want to call in at the same time.
I know, right? As soon as somebody else on the line, they're like,
like, oh, let me call right now. Just but we appreciate
y'all just called. Y'all, we missed y'all, man. Call back.
Yeah. But I guess before we move it on to flag on the play, I guess we'll get into this right here. This is a little bit of draft stuff here.
Yeah.
Because Will Stein, offensive coordinator former offensive coordinator for Oregon, is now the head coach of Kentucky. He accepted a job, which is interesting because a guy like Dante Moore, does he stay? Does he go into the draft? We kind of heard rumors that he was gonna possibly come back to Oregon, and now, but his OC's kind of he's left, so I don't know if that's gonna be a determining factor or a motivating factor for him to go into the draft. I mean, obviously, if he goes in the draft, that's another quarterback that the Raiders can actually pick from. I know the top three guys everybody talking about is Ty Simpson and my bad, I missed the call. Call back in. Calling number 856-209-5978, man. Call back again, man. My bad. But there's gonna be three quarterbacks that everybody's talking about: Ty Simpson, Mendoza, and obviously Dante Moore if he enters the draft. A lot of people kind of like scratched him off and like he's not coming out because there was word from, I think Todd McShay was kind of the guy that was leading the way, talking about like he's talked to some people to say that he's not coming back. But real quick, man, let me just get this.
Yeah. Yeah, man, but just piggyback off of that, there was speculation that Dante Moore wouldn't be back, but with his offensive coordinator leaving, him potentially having to learn a whole new offense, and a very important year for him, leading up to the draft, would that kind of motivate him and push him to enter the draft? I mean, these are interesting questions, especially he's going to be a first. He's basically locked to be a first round pick, probably a locked top 10 pick, maybe a locked top 5 pick. So, does he kind of strike while the iron is hot, especially after losing this offensive coordinator? Like all those things have to go into consideration. But you got the call already?
Yeah, we got Kev from Salt Lake City, man. What's going on, bro?
How you guys doing tonight?
Pretty good, man. How about yourself?
I'm doing good. I have a question because I don't understand. I want your opinion on the misuse of JPJ. Do you think that followed on Chip Kelly or Pete? Because I'm confused as to which. They clearly misused him, but I don't understand who's at fault for the misuse.
It's a good question. A lot of people, were talking about Pete Carroll kind of playing a hand in it. There was like maybe an issue between him. Some people might even say Chip Kelly because how much he kind of vouched for. If you remember, he compared Jordan Meredith to Jason Kelce. So I'm like, man, you're comparing Jordan Meredith to this guy. That's high praise. So it's almost like you want to validate the move, but then you fast forward, and as soon as JPJ goes down, they make a change at center and move Jordan Meredith to guard, and then you hear Pete Carroll talk about, oh man, Jordan Meredith, he's a pretty good guard. But didn't you say before the season that Jordan Meredith is a guy that we view him as a center and not a guard? He's too small to play guard. So there's been a lot of, I think it's a combination of like Pete, you got to put in Brandon Carroll, and I think Chip Kelly. But one thing I will say that you say it again.
It's pretty clear it's pretty clear who did it. It's 1,000% clear now.
Go ahead, Zamir.
This was a Pete Carroll move, man. You can Pete Carroll, and just the way you can feel that there was animosity he had toward JPJ for whatever reason. I don't know what it is, but there's some animus there. When he initially, first of all, you made him compete for the right guard job. He's clearly your second best offensive lineman. Why is he competing? Nobody else is really competing. Took away the center job from him already, so you're making him compete with this guy for the right guard spot. And then even when he won the job, you didn't even give it to him outright. You said essentially he only won it because Kappa was hurt. And so let's say you ignore all of that. What makes it very clear that it was a Pete Carroll move is that when Meredith goes down, right? And we have Parham sitting right there, who's played center before. Instead of putting Parham at center, they put Alex Kappa, who has never played an NFL, a regular season NFL game at center. They put him at center.
Oh, man.
Bro, it's clear. He hadn't taken a snap at center since the 2018 preseason. And this was your solution? So, Will Putnam was unplayable when Alex Kappa was unplayable because instead of putting Alex Kappa in there at guard, you decided to put Will Putnam at center and then Meredith at guard and put Kappa and leave Kappa on the bench. So, you didn't think Kappa was good enough to play over Meredith at guard, but he's good enough to be your starting center now, having never played center in a regular season NFL game before. This hijinks is clearly Brendan Carroll and Pete Carroll, and that was made crystal clear.
When we saw JPJ play last year, he passed the eye test as far as being our center in the last half of the season.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
we saw as fans that he not only could play that position, but play it really well considering how young he was.
Right.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't the coaching staff currently see that? I'm baffled. That's why I called in tonight. I'm like, maybe I'm just tripping, but you guys see the same thing I'm seeing.
Well, I'll just play a little bit of devil's advocate. JPJ has been hurt his first 2 years in the league. He's kind of been injury prone his first couple seasons. I think going into the season last year, I think he missed some games early in the season. Obviously, this year he's not able to finish the season, I'm not sure if he's going to be able to come back. Judging by what Pete was saying, if you just judge by how he talks about JPJ, I don't think he's going to be coming back this season or in time. That's something that maybe some people have argued that, okay, if you're not going to be healthy enough to be there every game and you're going to play center, very important position on that offensive line, then maybe it makes sense for him to since he has that skill set and that versatility to move into guard where they can deal with him missing a game at guard compared to center. Maybe that there's an argument to be had there, I guess. But peep this. Now, I'm gonna prove a very important point here. So last year, right, we had Andre James. He was the preseason starter at center, the opening day starter at center, correct? And JPJ was playing where? Playing guard, right? Right.
And JPJ was hurt in the offseason doing what? Playing guard, correct? Okay. So then JPJ gets healthy and he plays center. JPJ finishes the year healthy, correct? Finishes the year healthy, correct? Okay, bam. So fast forward this year. JPJ is not the center. JPJ is guard again. JPJ gets hurt. where's JPJ playing when he gets hurt? Guard, correct?
Guard.
Okay. You with me? Okay, timeout. So so now we move Jordan Meredith to where? Guard. What happens when Jordan Meredith is playing guard?
Hurt.
He gets hurt, right? He gets hurt, right?
Right.
So it seems to me that the more violent position, or the position where you're more prone to getting injured, seems to be guys that are playing guard, right? It seems to me that's where all the injuries are happening.
The only thing is that he came in. The reason why he was available in the second round, which is a guy that, you know, some people from a talent perspective, he could have been drafted in the first round, was the fact that he was injury prone in college.
No, and not injury prone. What was the issue in college?
Concussions, but I think he had other injuries too.
Exactly. Yeah, but the main thing was concussions. That was the main thing. So the main thing was the concussion issue. That was I want to say that's the top thing. I think he might have had like maybe a foot, I think. But the biggest concern was people like, you know, he had concussion issues at Oregon. So you know what? And that's why he wears that rhinoceros looking helmet, you know. Shout out to my logo. But you know, so that's why he's wearing that crazy helmet, because to protect against concussion. So it seems like he was healthy when he played in the NFL at center, and then gets hurt at guard. Jordan Meredith was healthy in the NFL, you know, playing center for the most part, and then he got hurt at guard. So like if you're trying to protect somebody from injury, I would think that center will be the spot that, you know, it seems the guys get hurt less.
Yeah, man.
I appreciate you guys taking my call. I appreciate it. Thank you.
No problem, Kev. You have a good one.
You too.
All right. Man, we got some good calls today, man. Appreciate everybody calling in. Make sure to clock in, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell. We're going live on both our channels. If it's your first time viewing us, definitely subscribe to both. Definitely clock in, as we like to say, which is hitting that like button, hitting that subscribe button, hit that notification bell, and all that good stuff. We had someone call in. If you want to call back in, the phone lines are open. Number on the screen, 856-209-5978. I guess let's move it on. I think we kind of touched on the Dante Moore situation. I think that's something to keep an eye on. Damn, we got another call. All right, here we go. Hold on.
LA Raiderism. That is Power Rangers is a good description. That is good description. There's a Power Ranger helmet. That's a good description, bro.
All right, we got Anthony from Idaho, man. What's going on? How you doing?
Not bad. Good to talk to you, gentlemen. But I got a question for you. Who do we hold responsible for not picking up any good quality offensive linemen in free agency? We got Kappa. That was a spy tech guy. We had Becton and Jenkins available. We didn't pick up any of them. We picked up Besh in the second round. As far as I'm concerned, we need to start holding spy tech accountable for some of these things.
You know what? I can't. That's a good point. I mean, the fact that they didn't address the offensive line the way that they should have, especially when you take a running back at number 6, and if that was the plan all along, or if that was a guy that because they were, you know, I'm sure they evaluated the draft and they knew who guys that they had on their big board. I don't know, because it's a very good valid question, because was Genty the number 1 guy on their board? Was he where was he at on their board? We don't know that. We're not in the Raiders, you know, obviously war room. At the end of the day, you know, shout out to Zamir and Real Talk Raider Nation and Chris, man, Raider War Room. But we're not in there to know what their big board looks like at the end of the day. So it makes you kind of think that, all right, they might have looked at the offensive line and might have thought like, all right, they can maybe coach them to at least average. That's my only thing. I think they kind of looked at the offensive line and like, hey, if we added a veteran here, a guy like Glaze, can he take the next step? You got Colton Miller, you got JPJ. They moved Meredith to center. Dylan Parham is on a contract year. They probably thought they that they probably, can coach him up to at least be average or maybe slightly above. They didn't think it was going to be this bad. I think we should be really concerned if Spytek and everybody in that building thought this offensive line or whatever they thought this was going to happen this season. I don't think they knew that this offensive line was going to be this bad. Now, who's accountable for that? I think that's on Spytek. I think you can put that a lot on Spytek, but also, the coaching staff too. Brandon Carroll's the offensive line coach.
Yeah.
You got to put it on him too as well. Like you got to put it on coaching a little bit too. So it's a common. I think it's a common.
I'm wondering what did Meredith do so well in 2024 to constitute him as a starting guard or a starting center? The guy looked okay at best. He's a rotational piece. Parham has had a history of failure for 3 years with us now. We're still starting him, and Kappa was the best that we could come up with.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It sounds like Spytek doesn't have the cojones to I don't know, discipline his coaches. I don't know what the words is that I'm looking for, but it's just the minute I heard that they were pulling JPJ from center, I knew it was a recipe for disaster. I really did.
Yeah, I'm gonna pass it to Zamir real quick, but I'll just say this is that people forget, because people have, like, sometimes people forget the free agencies and the off seasons. People looked at that free agency and looked at it as a weak free agency. There weren't like a lot of guys available, and the guys that were available, which is common in free agency, are guys with red flags. And what are the red flags? A lot of injury red flags, and that's something that Spytek has shown consistently from the players that he drafted and the players that he would sign that don't have a lot of that in their background. So that's the only thing I can say to that. But Zamir, go ahead and take that.
Yeah, but to that point, so who do I think is responsible? I mean, I would usually say, you know what? I would say heavily it would be the offensive side of the ball. Excuse me. But we kind of already established that Pete Carroll didn't trust Chip Kelly for whatever reason. So was he really a guy that was integral in that kind of decision making? He didn't trust him so much so that he made his son the offensive line coach and the run game coordinator. So like I said, I think it was their assessment that looked at this offensive line and said they can make it work. But what was bad is that, you know what, down the stretch last season, right? This offensive line performed well, right? Was it like a top unit, one of the best units in the league? No, but it was like a solid unit, right? Meredith played well enough at left guard. JPJ, I think he played well enough at center. But, obviously there was still some room to grow there. And Parham was hit or miss at right guard, right? But, that was the position he played best because he had played left guard the year before and he was worse. And he has said numerous occasions he prefers playing right guard. Right guard is what he played at Memphis. So, if you were going to do this, JPJ wants to play center. That's when he said he was at his most comfortable. That's when he felt he was himself, and when he was his most effective was at center. Meredith was a guard, who was supposed to be a guard and had been a guard in the league, and Parham was a right guard. For whatever reason, these geniuses in their infinite wisdom decide to take what worked and was doing pretty well down the stretch last season, where we're getting rushing production out of Sincere McCormick and Amir Abdullah. They decided to take that and change it for whatever reason. For what reason, I have no idea. But instead of building upon the success that we saw and everybody saw, and it was on the stat sheet and with the eye test and with the analytics, everything said that what was going on down the stretch last year was working. So instead of just keeping that going, you decided to mix it all up. And to Pharaoh's point, right? Like, it was a weak free agency class outside of some top tier guys on the offensive line. But know what you do when there's a weak free agency class at a specific position? what do you do, Phil? You already know. What do you do?
Gotta overpay, man.
Oh, yeah, overpay, or you attack it in the draft. You attack it in the draft. Instead of taking a running back in the first round and a tight end / wide receiver in the second round.
Yeah, go ahead.
Can I throw one more thing out there too? You guys were talking about like Tomlin as coach and stuff like that, and saying who wants to come here. We've got cornerstones in Genty and in Bowers. We're gonna have a high draft pick. I'm predicting that we're gonna pick second this year. I can't imagine that there isn't a bright, young, offensive-minded wannabe out there who isn't hungry to take over a head coaching position. And I'll tell you what, if they make it with the Raiders, they put their name on the map, big time. I really think we need to go young. I think we need to go new.
Yeah,
maybe even a college
agree.
maybe even a college coach. I'm willing to play my money ball early in this process. I think, regardless of what Spytek did in last year's draft, I do think that the guy's got some common sense. I think he knows how to. I think he understands the importance of the trenches, regardless of what he did last year. But we need to play our money ball. We need somebody young and we need somebody new. No more retreads.
No, I understand completely. I'm with you as far as getting a young coach. I'm not totally against retreads. There's some guys that are intriguing to me. But yeah, definitely need to get a young guy in the building. I don't think that the job is untouchable. Like, no one is going to want to take the job, especially because when you talk about defensive-minded coaches, they don't really have a lot of opportunities to get head coaching jobs. Look at a guy like Patrick Graham, who's been trying he's been interviewing almost every offseason to become a head coach in the NFL. And it's just at the end of the day, a lot of these owners, a lot of these teams, they want to get offensive-minded coaches. So if there's a lot of good defensive-minded coaches out there, which I think there are going to be during this coaching cycle, I think the Raiders are going to have an opportunity to get one of those guys. Is there a chance they can get an offensive-minded coach? Sure. Especially if, like you said, if they finish with a top 3 pick, that kind of almost guarantees that they can get a quarterback. You know what I mean? Like, possible because, the Jets.
They could go 1 and 2.
Yeah, they can go 1 and 2, or, a team like the Jets who have multiple first-round picks a team can always trade up, and that can always happen too as well. But if it's a situation where it's kind of obvious where, the Raiders have a really good chance to get a quarterback, then maybe I can see maybe an offensive-minded coach maybe like, you know what, I can work with this situation. I can, as long as I can get my quarterback. So that can also happen. But Anthony, man, appreciate you calling in. Is any last thoughts?
No. Appreciate you, gentlemen, in your show. Have a good evening.
You as well, man. Have a great day.
Same, man. Appreciate you, man.
All right. All right. Great calls, man. Appreciate everybody pulling up.
Yeah. The problem with that is that, like they say, like people assume that like if there were this long line of young offensive-minded coaches just ready and willing to take the Raiders job, why do we hire a 74-year-old Pete Carroll?
Well, last coaching cycle, I don't think there were a lot of options, to be honest with you. I don't remember.
But the same people are there. All the same people were in that last cycle.
But their name wasn't.
Maybe if we didn't identify them, that's on the people doing the search. But it could be a situation where those people through back channel said, we're not interested.
There's a little bit of that happened, especially with the offensive coaches, because we didn't see not one offensive coach interview except for Ben Johnson using us as leverage and pity. You know what I mean? That's basically about it. But all we heard was Todd Monken was requested, nothing after that. And Liam Cohen, we didn't hear nothing. Like, we didn't hear no request, which you would think maybe Spytek would probably try to find a way to make that happen. But, he was obviously wasn't even hired at the moment. So we don't even know. Like, he didn't have a say in that whole situation. But that being said, a lot of people forget because people talk about like, hey, man, how did we not upgrade the offensive line? But it was a weak free agency. There was not a lot of options. And I think Spytek, he's been on record saying that I want to build through the draft. That's what he wants to do. He wants to build through the draft, which I'm not going to knock him. He's coming in. He doesn't want to give out big contracts to guys who are obviously, if this is a rebuild and this is how he views it behind the scenes, especially now that we clearly see it's a rebuild, but based off the moves, I think this is how he felt about the team and the roster and where it was at. Like he didn't really want to go all in this offseason, meaning because he knows that like, hey, look, this is going to be longer than just one offseason. If the Raiders are ready to win now, we would have seen a whole bunch of contracts. We would have seen a bunch of trades or more aggressive moves that would signify that the team was trying to go for it. But that didn't happen. They weren't a super aggressive free agency, but it was a weak free agency class. But like you brought up, if there's a weak free agency class at offensive line, and you draft at number 6, that's why I was like, hey, we should get an offensive line. And I'm looking at this upcoming free agency class of offensive line. I know everybody's talking about the center from the Baltimore Ravens, Linderbaum.
Yeah.
Tyler. They're talking about him, and then Braden Smith is another guy.
They didn't pick up his 5th-year option, I want to say, but I think but isn't he injury prone?
No, they didn't pick up his 5th-year option.
I know, I said that's why everybody's talking about him, because they didn't pick up his 5th-year option.
But that's there's still a possibility they could like sign him, And
yeah, that is definitely a possibility.
Remember the guy that we wanted last year was the guard from Kansas City, but then they ended up franchising him. Yeah, they ended up franchising him right before free agency, and then they end up getting the deal done. But that's the reality of the situation. Good players technically are not going to be available. Like it's like the blue chip players, like they're not going to really be. There's not going to be a whole lot of options when it comes to that. And the point that I was trying to make was when it comes. This is why the Genty pick was just. This is why it was like it's tough. Is because you're more likely to find a talented young running back in free agency than a talented young offensive lineman.
Exactly.
Because a lot of the offensive linemen, I was looking at like this free agency class, for example. A lot of the guys, a lot of the tackles are older or they're average. Yeah. Or they're average. And guess what's going to happen with these average players? They're going to get overpaid.
Yep.
So, and that's the reality of the situation. So that's why, like, you take a tackle at number 6, Armand Mimbu, or you know what I mean, or the tackle from Texas that the Saints end up grabbing.
Kelvin Banks.
I believe Kelvin Banks, who's also playing well. So you got 2 tackles this year playing pretty well. But it is what it is. The Raiders got to go all out and address the offensive line. So they got to go to free agency. And they got to be aggressive and upgrade the offensive line. Like that got to be it has to be a priority.
It has to be a priority
because you drafted a running back 6, and then you're also gonna want to get a quarterback. So you're gonna have to protect your assets. Like you're gonna have to take it. Man, look, man. The Raiders are kind of doing. They're putting the carriage before the horse. That's the situation they're in.
Exactly. You drafted a running back that you can't. That, like I said, I don't think he's any elite or special talent, but you can't even maximize the talent that he does have because you can't put him in advantageous positions, especially running the ball. And guess what? All offseason we hear about how we're throwing Ashton Jennings the ball, right? That's all you hear. Oh man, we're throwing the ball a lot to Ashton Jennings. As soon as Pete Carroll gets his hands on offense, what do we not do? We don't throw him the ball.
Yeah, man. But it's that time, man. It's that time, man. You already know what time it is, man. It's flag on the play.
69, offense. He was giving them the business.
What we got this week on flag on the play? We always got something, man. Someone's always happening. But what's up with this week's Zamir?
Yeah, so obviously last week, was Thanksgiving. Hope everybody had a good one, with their family and whatnot. But what we heard was, former NFL, I think if you're a former NFL player, I think he's a quarterback at TCU, Trevon Boyin. He recounted a trip that he spent at the Russell Wilson household for Thanksgiving. And the way he went about it was just it was Pete Carroll levels of nasty work.
So did So let me see. Pull this up. So we're playing that clip of him talking about the whole situation.
Yeah.
Man, that was bad too.
That was disgusting. It was disgusting.
Did I send it? I don't know if you sent it to me, because I know I got the I got the
it's not on X.
I got
the Ocho one.
Yeah.
You got the
original
the clean one.
Yeah.
Let me see.
Yeah, even though I agreed with them on how they
facts. Let's see, I can find it. Yeah, it's crazy work.
Boykin, let me see if I type in Boykin. I'm sure it's gonna pop up.
I got it right here. Hold up. I got it right here. I'm about to shoot it to you right now.
All right, cool.
This should be it right here.
All right, here we go. Here's a clip of ex-NFL quarterback Trayvon Boykin. That was at Russell Wilson's Thanksgiving. Oh, hold on, my bad.
For Thanksgiving,
I agree.
The weirdest feel like he catered. So no, like, bro, I come from a traditional country black family.
We throwing down.
If I got as much money as Russell Wilson, my whole family would talk about me so bad if I ain't fly everybody out there for Thanksgiving. And I'm sponsored by an airline.
Yeah.
Maybe he's not close to his family.
And maybe he not. But his mama wasn't there. Sisters wasn't there. You know what I'm saying? Like, even though, like, it's still weird to me. I'm just still, even if you don't food with your family, like, it's still weird to me on Thanksgiving. My family gonna do the food. This is what we gonna do. If you the one with the money, we coming to your house. You know what I'm saying? Like, let me
that part.
That's what we gonna do. So
yeah.
to get over there and catch Russell Wilson, like, him, is literally him, Sierra daddy, me.
I can't even finish this whole thing, bro.
Yeah, you ain't gotta finish it, man. That was enough right there. That was enough right there.
Hella disgusting, bro. Like, what are you doing, man? Like, a man invited you to his Thanksgiving, and you over here talking about his business and you over here talking about, like, who's there and who shouldn't be there. Like, why does that even matter? And why are you talking about this in public? Why are you? Definitely flag on the play, man. Flag on the play on Trayvon Boykin. Yeah, man, I know a lot of people were like, they criticize Russell Wilson for a lot of different reasons, but this one right here, man, it's out of pocket, bro. I'm not gonna lie. This is a definitely flag on the play, man. But what was your take on it when you first heard it? Because I know when I heard it, I was just like, man, why are you? Why are you? First of all, why are you telling the public about Russell Wilson's personal business? And at the end of the day, like, why does it matter who's there? Like, why are you not enjoying your time? Like, there's a lot of different reasons why, like, people are not going to be at certain Thanksgivings. And, like, why are you making that a point to, like, point out and criticize? Like, people will just be doing anything for attention.
Exactly. I mean, my first thought was, like, bro, like, why didn't your family invite you to their Thanksgiving? Or why didn't you fly your family for Thanksgiving with you?
Facts.
Like, right? Like, that was my first. You criticizing who was at this man's. Like, bro, how you gonna go into my house and criticize what I'm doing at my house? Dude, you at my house. Like, don't talk about what I'm doing in my house when you a guest in my house. And second of all, it's like, bro, like, you talk about all the people that wasn't there, right? All his family wasn't there. These other people wasn't there. And it was only these select people that were there. And even though he only kept that very tight-knit group of people there, he still invited you. So that means he had enough trust in you, or felt enough about you, or wanted for you to have, hey, you know what? Let me get you over here and have a Thanksgiving with some people that I know, that I trust, and welcome you over here so you can have a good Thanksgiving as well. He thought enough of you to do that for you. And what you do is, the first thing you is, oh, this is weird, and why ain't, like, who walks into somebody else's house and ask why ain't other people there? Like, that's like the weirdest thing. Like, I wouldn't like I couldn't get invited to Pharaoh house. He'd be like, oh man, come over to the crib, bro. Maybe about to have dinner, barbecuing, yada yada. And the first thing I'm thinking, like, bro, how come your mama not here, Pharaoh? Like, That's weird. Like that is strange behavior, man. So it's just
crazy.
weird stuff, bro.
It's crazy. What he's saying, he's making what his observation on the whole situation is he's exactly what he's saying. He's calling it weird, but he's being weird. Yeah. He's the one that's being weird. He's the one that's like, I don't know, man. It definitely flag on a play, man. I when I seen this, when I first heard it, I was just listening to it. I was like, what the hell? Like, what is this? Like, what's going on? And then I seen people kind of commenting. I was like, bro, like this, yeah. And I started thinking about it, I'm like, man, he really came to his house. He invited him, and I'm sure Russell Wilson seemed like, hey, he might be a private person. He invited him to his home and Thanksgiving. Food in your own home. Like, that's like, come on, bro. Like, oh, man. That's why you got to be private, man. You really got to protect your peace, man, because people out here, man, they will do anything to, like, to hate on you. Because that's, to me, this is a form of hate, to be honest with you.
That's what it was, man.
Form of hate. Like, he hated on everything that Russell Wilson had. Is like, he was trying to get on his family, his house, like his whole, like, what are you talking about, bro? Like you said, the first thing that you said, like, why were you at your family house?
Exactly, bro. Like,
flag on the play, man, on Trayvon Boykin, man. That's big time flag. But real quick, let me address the super chat. My bad, LS, man, you sent this earlier, man. But with all the calls, man, I got lost track of things. But he says any hotshot head coach candidate will do the same thing. They'll all have and come in and think they'll run the show because Mark refused to set the chain of command. Yeah, facts. But the thing is that my point is that they have the leverage to do that. And I just feel like the Raiders right now, they're just not set up. Like, they need to get it right, man. And the way they can get it right is just have everybody just have their responsibility and focus on that. Have the GM be a GM, have the coach be a coach. Let Tom Brady, if he's the unofficial, president of football operations, let him be behind the scenes. And then when big time decisions come, they can have him in the room and they can talk about whatever decision that he made for the franchise. But I don't think he should be doing things like hiring coaches and things like that. That's just, come on now. Like, I don't think that's long-term success. That's not going to work out. But yeah, as far as getting bringing in a coach and then allowing him to just run the show, we've already seen that, been there, done that. I just feel like if it doesn't work out, it's just going to be another, like, damn, like, we keep banging our head on the wall, doing the same thing over and over again, allowing guys come in and have this, having this weird power structure, which we know for the most part doesn't really work. But Tomlin's just one of those guys, like, damn, like, he is a great coach. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, for example, like Gruden, I don't think Gruden is a bad coach. I just think that he shouldn't have any power. Yeah, he shouldn't have any power in drafting. like he should just be a coach. And to be honest with you, I like Gruden as just being a coach. I don't even want him to be a play caller. Because part of what makes Gruden so good, I think, is his play designs. More so than his play calling. Because when we seen him on third down and red zones, you seen how he gets exposed a little bit. He's kind of like predictable. But then he'll have crazy play designs where he can get guys open and get, like, you've seen Darren Waller have career years and guys like Hunter Renfrow have career years and things like that. So, but yeah, that's a whole different conversation. But my point is that, like, it's just best to have just the traditional setup, in my opinion. And I don't think the Raiders are ready for a guy like I think Tomlin's going to go to whatever. Tomlin could go to New York.
Yeah.
Give him a quarterback.
That defensive line too. Yeah, that defensive line.
Give him because the defense is going to be solid. Give him a quarterback. Man, this rest is history, bro. Young quarterback. He had it with Roethlisberger. Young defense. A great defense, and then young quarterback.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's a whole different conversation. But yeah. But LS, man, appreciate you selling the super chat. We're not done yet, man. We got another flag on the play, Severe, man. What we got?
Yeah, man. The other flag on the play. What do we roll with? What was the other flag? Oh man. Speaking of Tomlin, we got probably the most intimidating football player of all time, James Harrison. He had some very, very interesting comments about Tomlin, and I thought they were flag worthy, man. I definitely thought they were flag worthy.
You to play beyond your potential. My potential for me as an undrafted free agent was a special teams player for life. But Keith Butler was my linebacker coach, and he got me to play beyond my potential. He was a great coach. Dick LeBeau was a great defensive coordinator.
I just want to say, bro, I did not know he talked like this.
Got our defensive players to play beyond their potential. And right now, we can't even play to it. So you tell me where there's a good coach on this staff. Because right now, I don't see anybody playing to their potential. Mike Tomlin is in control of hiring coaches, okay? And he may not be the one coaching the position, but he is in position to hire the coaches to get the potential out of our players. And right now, he has not put coaches in the position that can get the potential out of what it is that we have. Because I know what TJ Watt can do. I know what Cam Hayward can do. I've seen what Alex Highsmith can do, brother. I've seen Jalen Ramsey, Patrick McQueen. I can go on and on, but I'm not seeing it. Why? And I go back to this. 2013, I went to Cincinnati, bro. Okay? And I played in a 4-3 defense. The defense did not fit me for my potential of what I was capable of. And because I was not a player that fit that scheme, okay, that didn't work for me. Right now, right. And right now, we have a lot of players that are not fit for the scheme that we run. The interior defensive linemen have to hold up to the run because we're supposed to be a 3-4 defense, bro. Which means the linebackers are there to make the plays, but they can't make the plays if the D-line is in their lap half the time. Okay? Something has to be done, bro. And I know the Steelers historically don't move on from coaches. But I think it's time that history be made, because right now, the only history we're making is being the worst Pittsburgh Steelers team statistically almost in the history of the organization.
Man, former player, man, for Mike Tomlin, James Harrison, kind of going at Mike Tomlin there, man, and talking about he needs to possibly be let go by the Pittsburgh Steelers. And man, grass ain't greener on the other side, man. I think. But you know what? I will say this. About Mike Tomlin. He has had issues with hiring, and this is kind of been issues with a lot of defensive guys too. This is why a lot of people want to hire offensive-minded coaches. Yeah, he's had issues hiring a offensive coordinator. It feels like every year he's getting a new guy in, or every year or 2 years. And it's not because another team is hiring him as a head coach. It's because they're getting fired. They're letting him go. They're getting replaced. They're not getting the job done. So I'll give him that. But he's talking specifically on defense though. Yeah. And he needs to be let go just because of that. I'm like, ugh. I mean, but man, he's calling him out. That's crazy, bro. That's crazy. I mean, I guess that's what the flag is because he's a former player, kind of going at his old coach. But what's your take on it? Because this is kind of like your thing and why you want to Go ahead. But first of all, you got to address how you talk though. You got to.
First of all, yeah, man. I think
him and Mike Tyson would have
been
been a crazy debate. You know what I mean? Him and Mike Tyson would have been a crazy debate.
Yeah, let's say he sound like he cutting a wrestling promo. It's like
you got to watch the D line.
Crazy.
Like, man, I was like, what the hell? Like, and I seen him on the Pivot podcast. I think I might have seen him on the Pivot. I don't think he was talking like this.
He was talking like that, bro. He was talking like that. That was Denzel Washington's son's level of acting right there.
Man.
According to Pharaoh, if you let Pharaoh tell you, that's Denzel Washington intended.
Worst actor of all time, man. One of the worst actors I've ever seen in my life.
So what's crazy is that we talk about Mike Tomlin. Mike Tomlin's never had a losing record with the Steelers. So despite all this stuff he talks about, all these people, Mike Tomlin has never had a losing record with the Steelers, right? Cam Hayward turned into one of the best interior defensive linemen in the league. He's a late first-round pick. That happened on Mike Tomlin's watch, right? TJ Watt turned into one of the better defensive players in the league. I think he was like a late first round pick or early second round pick, right? That happened on Mike Tomlin's watch. You talking about James Harrison, right? James Harrison was with the team before Tomlin. James Harrison was undrafted. He got cut like 6 or 7 times. I want to say, right? But he was with the team, and it wasn't Mike Tomlin that cut him. It was Bill Cowher that was cutting him. So he's with the team. And I think he finally landed a permanent roster spot in 2004, right? So he was with the team in 2004. Mike Tomlin took over the team in 2007. Take a wild guess as when was the first year that James Harrison was an All-Pro selection or a Pro Bowl selection?
His first year.
Take a wild guess. His first year there, right? Keith Butler did all this work, but you didn't do none of these accomplishments until Mike Tomlin got there. But it was all Keith Butler. But know what? But that is I was told this, and this was one of the most important things I was told early on when I wanted to step into leadership roles in corporate America, is that when the true sign of a leader is that you will get people to do things and they won't think you had anything to do with it. They will think they did it. And that's a true leader. You will be there with them along their side, right on that same track, but it wouldn't be you pulling them. It will be you being right there next to them. And that's what a leader does. So they'll think that all those accomplishments, they did themselves. It won't be, oh man, I couldn't have did it if it wasn't for this person, because then they're dependent on you. That's not a leader. A leader creates other leaders. So he creates people who are self-sufficient. So they think they did things themselves. So Mike Tomlin empowered these other people to do the things they needed to do. He inherited a coaching staff, right? He inherited outside. I think he lost Ken Wisenhunt. But he promoted Bruce Arians that first year to offensive coordinator, right? Yeah. And he let Bruce Arians run the offense. He inherited Dick LeBeau. He inherited these other people. So he could have done the Pete Carroll route and come in and say, okay, I'm going to bring in my own guys. I'm going to put all these other people under you. But why do that? I'm going to empower my people to do their jobs. And the results were his first year, they go to the playoffs. They go 10-6 and they're in the playoffs. His very first year. They win the AFC North. So the fact that James Harrison doesn't think he's this great guy or this great leader, all well and good. But all of these accomplishments you had, and you pointed to yourself, you went to another team and they misused you. It was the wrong scheme because he was thinking, I'm James Harrison. This is all me. I'm the guy that's doing all this, right? He went there and didn't have success. Came right back to the Steelers, and what did he do? Had success. So obviously there's a common denominator there.
Damn, he tried to give credit to everybody but Tomlin. He tried to give everybody, tried to give the position coaches, the defensive coordinator credit, but not
Boyin.
not Mike Tomlin. That's wild. That's crazy.
But know what that's an egoless person. When I don't have to, they see, and that's the opposite of Pete Carroll. You can say partly that maybe that was the opposite of Chip Kelly as well, where I don't, or Tom Brady or Mark Davis, where I don't have to have my hands in every pot. You don't have to know everything I do. I don't have to be seen and be heard all the time. I'm going to be seen and heard when it matters. And other than that, I'm going to let other people do their jobs. I'm not going to micromanage them. I'm not going to be over their shoulder. I'm not going to be omnipresent because I don't need to be, because I feel I have the right people in place to do the things that need to be done. And if things that need to be done aren't getting done, then I'll step in and we can come up with a plan and we can make adjustments. But until that day comes, you won't see or hear from me that much because things are happening that are supposed to be happening. Like you don't like your mechanic. You don't think, oh man, my mechanic is the only reason my car is running, because you don't go to your mechanic when your car is running fine. You go to your mechanic when there's issues, and then he fixes them. And when they're fixed, you don't be like, the only reason my car is running is my mechanic. You just think he fixed the issues, and now everything that's supposed to be working is working as it should be. That's what you need in a leader. You don't need to be omnipresent. You just need to empower the other people to do what they're supposed to do and fix things when they need to be fixed.
Guide them, basically.
Exactly.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. It sounds like Zamir is a little bit ungrateful. He's ungrateful. And he won a Super Bowl under Mike Tomlin. For him to even just go at him like that.
Possibly more than one.
It's crazy, man. It's crazy. Definitely flag on a play on James Harrison. And it's crazy. I would have never thought that would have came from him too. That's why that was so surprising when I heard that. I was like, man, it's coming from James Harrison. I'm like, man, and he's calling for his job.
Man,
he's calling for his job. A guy that he won with, that he like, man, that is crazy. That's wild, man. But it is what it is, man. That wraps up flag on a play. We appreciate everybody coming through. Make sure to clock in, hit that like button, hit that subscribe, and hit that notification bell. We're not done yet. We got notable quotables.
Yes, sir.
This is where we say a quote, or we play a quote that we find interesting, and we obviously talk about it. Kind of similar to flag on a play this week, but we'll keep it going. Yeah. We'll keep it going. Zamir, what's the first notable quotable?
No, what this one was, I was between notable quotable and flag on the play. So let's do this one as the first notable quotable, since I was kind of on the fence of where to put this one.
All right.
And this is former Raiders head coach Antonio Pierce, and his thoughts of how long it would take for the Raiders to get back to where they need to be.
He always talking about the Raiders, man.
Yeah.
Good things are going to happen soon to the Raiders.
Tap.
Okay.
Tap.
Get in there.
You are wearing.
So good things going to happen. I'm wearing all black. Fitting, I get it.
Define soon.
Like what's soon? I mean, we just fired offensive coordinator.
Right, maybe by the end of the season, something will happen.
Let me pick this thing up. Let me see. I was there last year with the Raiders.
Yep, you were there.
We didn't have a good offense.
You know what the culture's like. You know the players in the locker room.
Fan base is upset.
Yep. I like Max Crosby.
Yeah, Max Crosby. They're going to get turned around. Let me see this. I don't have no confidence. I'm talking about all seasons. I need decades to fix this bad boy coming up.
Decades.
Sheesh. Okay. One and done. Is there another coach gone? Is another coordinator? Listen. There's going to be something I'll talk about a little later where everybody's pointing the fingers. At some point there, the thumb points back.
Since you didn't get to go all out, I'll give you an extra one. How much do you love Max Crosby?
I love Max Crosby. I love him so much. I'm just. That's how much I love my boy Max.
Man. Shots fired, man, by AP. But, a little hint of saltiness. I mean, every time he talks about the Raiders, a little hint of saltiness. But I can't blame him a little bit. I know a lot of Raider Nation is probably going to be like, oh, forget this guy. This is the guy that wore, he wore Chiefs, he wore Chiefs, stuff, and he's talking all this stuff about the Raiders, and people are like, move on. You weren't that good of a coach, and this. At the end of the day, he was fired after 1 year. He didn't have a quarterback. He didn't have a running back. Like, he didn't have everything that he needed from a talent perspective on that football team to win games. And the Raiders thought they can upgrade from him and get different results. And guess what? They're getting worse results with a former Super Bowl winning coach and Pete Carroll. That should tell you how bad of a situation that the Raiders had around a Pete Carroll. Well, I won't say around, but like a bad of roster that they had with AP. Might be worse. I guess you could say that they lost some guys in free agency, but still, you know, at the end of the day, like, Pete Carroll got his quarterback. He was able to draft a running back. Some things that Antonio Pierce didn't have an opportunity to do. And I don't want to make it, and I don't want to make excuses for Antonio Pierce. I'm not saying that he was perfect, but it's just, I understand where he's coming from. And now he's just celebrating right now. He's just like, man, you know, he's like, look, like, it's going to take decades. I think that was a little bit of a shot. Like, come on, bro. Like, calm down, man. Okay, calm down. But I think he was taking a shot at somebody in the building. Most likely, I'm going to say it's between Mark and Tom Brady, but I think it's Tom Brady, because I think Tom Brady came in there and he was like he was a guy that kind of came in there and was like, yeah, Telesco, AP first. He was the one that like kind of like green lighted. Yeah, we need to get my coach in the building. We need to get somebody else in the building that I approve of. And then Telesco was also let go. Telesco, a lot of people were surprised when Telesco got let go because, you know, hey, solid draft. I mean, you got 3 starters. Yeah, you got 3 starters. Hey, that's good. Yeah. If you can get 3 starters from a draft, that is a good thing. Let alone a generational player and 2 starters. Come on, bro. Come on, man. But that should tell you everything you need to know, that it didn't matter what they did. It was just a matter of, I need to get my guys in the building. Yeah. And AP, man, he's just right now, he's celebrating right now. And it's funny, man, because I know you said it's in between flag on play. I think the biggest one was when he said decades. Yeah. That part right there when he said decades. Yeah. But yeah, I don't think he was like I don't think he was serious, but at the same time, like,
I don't think it's serious. That was exaggeration, but he feels it's going to take a long time for this team to turn around. And like I said, man, like people get mad. Some people get mad. It's crazy that people will be mad about AP wearing the Chiefs colors, but John Gruden did the same thing, and a lot of people want John Gruden back as a head coach now. So it's like John Gruden did the same thing, wore the Chiefs colors, did the whole 9 yards.
Yep.
And now a lot of people are like, oh yeah, we need to bring John Gruden back. He was the last coach that did anything for us. So I can't get mad at AP, you know, in terms of like if you feel somebody wronged you, and then you turn around and you see them doing bad, you go, like, there's a little schadenfreude in there, right? Like, everybody has a little bit of schadenfreude in them where they see, so like they take pleasure in somebody else's misery. Where it's like, yeah, bro, like, yeah, you did me wrong for this, and now you worse off than you ever been. Now you in a worse position. At least with me, we had this and this going on, or we had some upward trajectory where we thought, hey, know what? Did we get this turned around? This guy get some experience. He can get better. Now you got this 74-year-old guy. He ain't getting no better. He ain't about to turn it around. And you might have to fire him too. That's gonna be 3 head coaches in a row. Who's gonna be your head coach after that? So, you know, like I said, like it was halfway between flag, because that decades comment is like, come on, bro, like, decades? Are you seriously? But you know, it's notable quotable just because, you know, it's interesting to kind of hear what former players and coaches have to say about the situation. And look, nobody involved in the situation, nobody in the outside looking in, nobody inside the building, you know, like, nobody that knows anything about the dynamics of this team has anything good to say. You kind of alluded to Ted Nguyen earlier, saying, you know, he knows some stuff and he can't even say it, but it's as bad as it's ever been. And that was alluding to what we're going to talk about next. But like, this is a dumpster fire.
Yeah, it's just, yeah, like I got, look, I'm not saying AP would, but I'm just tired of firing coaches after 1 year. Cause it's just,
Susie Jeff.
Salute, man. Appreciate it coming through. Make sure to click in, hit that like button, hit that subscribe, and hit that notification bell. I'm just tired of firing coaches after 1 year. Just come on, man. Like I know that it's not going to equal the long-term success. You can't build anything. You can't establish anything. So that should tell you how bad it is for me to say that Pete Carroll needs to be let go.
Yeah.
Because I'm like looking at like, how can he be brought back? But I'm like, damn, how can you bring back a guy at this age that's doing things where he's kind of like hurting the team from a long-term perspective of not playing young guys? It's like you're clashing. It looks like, and I implied this earlier, and then now everybody talking about he's clashing with Spy Tech. It seems like there's so many things. He's clashing with his offensive coordinator, which, to be fair, like that was not a guy that he hired, but still it's the dysfunctional situation. It's like, I can't even like logically be like, we should bring him back. Not that it's up to me, but it just doesn't make sense to bring him back. It doesn't make any sense. And I'm tired of firing coach after 1 year. It doesn't like, I'm at a point where like, if they don't, it's not even about winning games. It's just like, I don't want dysfunction. I don't want any type of situation where like you're not on the same page with the GM. Like that type of stuff. It's almost like you gotta let guys go if it comes down to that. Like because this is a team. This is a team from a talent perspective. We went into the season. At least me and you went into the season. We're like, I don't see this team making the playoffs. But I didn't think it was gonna be this bad.
No,
I didn't think this is worse than last year. Yeah. And we thought it was gonna be a little bit better, like maybe like 5, like maybe like 5 in 12, or you know what I mean, 6. But to win less games and also be dysfunctional, you got to go.
Yeah, I didn't think it'd be this many blowouts. Like I thought we'd be like, I didn't think we'd win a lot of games, but I thought we'd be competitive in just about every game we played in. And then we got blown out with week 3 by a backup quarterback. Blew us out week 3, and that's when that's when you kind of knew like, okay, this could get real ugly. Yeah, and it's been all downhill ever since then.
Yeah, man. We have another notable quotable.
Another notable quotable. Kind of piggybacking off the conversation we were just having. Obviously there's been some mudslinging going on between Pete Carroll and his PR people. They're in full spin mode, crafting a narrative, and then Chip Kelly's people, I guess they kind of clapped back. But being the reporter that he is, Ian Rapoport didn't necessarily take the word of either side, and he talked to some third parties, and he had some very interesting things to say.
Story for the Las Vegas Raiders. This is something I reported on NFL.com, but I want to get into it right here too. So we know that Chip Kelly has been fired as offensive coordinator, right? Obviously, Greg Olsen going to be the OC moving forward now. Interim OC, actually the third time he's done that, which is just amazing. But did some digging into the offense, and here's what I understand from talking to people who know the offense well and have game planned against it. They believe that this is not Chip Kelly's offense, that in fact it is Pete Carroll's offense. They try to blend the two, but certainly there's not as many shotgun creative runs as there used to be, much more under center than there should be. And really, like, when one team was preparing for it, they used cards from the 2023 Seahawks rather than this year because that is what the offense resembled. So was it Chip Kelly's fault? The team was bad? Yeah, obviously did a bad job, got fired, but certainly worth taking a look at the internal working/dysfunction of this team to understand what this offense was, why it's been as anemic as it has been, and what a mess. And look, they have some talent deficiencies, no doubt. They got plenty of talent deficiencies. And until they get an infusion of talent, they're still going to be bad. But I would say it's fair to say that Pete Carroll is a little bit on the hot seat now because he's fired 2 coordinators, right? It's been a mess of a season, a mess. Can it get better? Can they save it? We'll see. But the spotlight has been on the 2 coordinators he's fired. I think the spotlight is pretty firmly on Pete Carroll now.
Yep, it is, man. That's why I say he's not. I don't think he's coming back. If he comes back, that man. and they run it back with Geno, and they don't draft a QB. Man, I shouldn't even say that out loud, man. I don't want to speak that into existence. I'm gonna knock on wood, man. That's
a full revolt. That's full on revolt, bro. That is full on revolt from everybody. The fans would. They would be outside of Henderson. They would be outside the headquarters in Henderson, like protesting, bro. It would get bad. It would get bad.
Faye says next year, no one will be able to pull the wool over the nation's eyes. Yeah, I mean,
I wish I believed that were the case.
Old school. The old school says that, man, this old school, man. He says this is why I keep saying I miss my 8 and 9 wins with Carr. Yeah, man. Look, see, this is the issue. This is like I was always kind of like very in the middle with Derek Carr. Like as far as like I knew what he was as a quarterback, but I also understood like the Raiders' inability to build a football team.
Yeah,
they just struggle. Like they cannot put like it was to the point where like it like because everybody wanted Carr to go, but at the end of the day, even if they brought in a better quarterback, maybe he might have increased maybe a couple more wins, maybe even a playoff spot. But it still would have came down, can they even build a football team around that guy? You know what I mean? Because they struggled, bro. Like come on. Yeah. Offensive line, weapons on offense. I mean, I guess you can say as Derek Carr had at times. He had Josh Jacobs. He had Darren Waller.
He had at times a solid offensive line too.
Yeah. Defense was terrible. Defense was
always bad. That was always a struggle.
Defense was bad. But I just felt like I just haven't really seen. And we had that conversation. Shout out to Murph from Raiders Fan Radio. I mean, we had that conversation. We were talking. We're like, man, when was the last time we've seen a talented football team? Like I'm talking about one of the best in the NFL, like, you know, like the Niners and the Eagles and all these top teams, they have like really talented rosters. We had to really think about it. Like, maybe it's 2016 maybe, but even that team was flawed, you know, where like they had some talent. Don't get it wrong. They had some talent, but that defense was, you know, can get exposed. Obviously, maybe 02, you know what I mean? 02 when they made that Super Bowl run.
They were an older team though.
An older team, you know, like it just speaks to like the Raiders' inability to like really like build a really talented football team. And because it would be hella once you get to that point, that's when you can start replacing guys who are good.
Yeah.
Like, okay, in order for us to take that next step to become a Super Bowl winner, we need to get not a good quarterback. We need to get a Matthew Stafford, like kind of like the Rams with Stafford, with Rams and Goff, right? Goff was a good quarterback. He wasn't a bad quarterback for them, but they wanted to win the Super Bowl. They needed that next step. So that's what made getting Stafford be the missing piece to the puzzle for them. And they obviously won a Super Bowl with him. The Raiders are not in that position. They were never in that position, ever. Never in that position. But you know, hey, look, when it's man, when you a fan, man, it is what it is. Sometimes you got to see it to believe it. But we appreciate everybody coming through. Make sure to clock in, hit that like button, hit that subscribe, and hit that notification bell. Is that it for? Do we have another notable quotable? Is that it?
Oh well, we could throw we had a fun one in there. we would throw the fun one in there. I think it's former Raider Shelby Harris.
Yeah.
This is a fun one. This is a fun one. It ain't too much. This one kind of speaks for itself.
All right, man. Let's see. Oh, this is
Shelby Harris talking about Juwan Jennings,
49er, a former Raider talking about a Niner, man. How
it's like poetic.
Yeah, man.
And I want that known. He's a hoe, and I want that known. Like I see why he got punched in the nuts, because that's like he says some things that you should not say to another man ever, but like I don't respect it because you say that, then run behind your O-line. That's some real soft shit, and I want that known. I see exactly why they punched you in the nuts. I'm surprised nobody punched him in the jaw yet.
And he walked away. He turned around too after he said that too.
He was done. I'm done. End of this.
But yeah, man, I guess he I wonder. I mean, he must have said something crazy, but for him to just do all that. But I mean, I don't know, man. The way he kind of reacted was kind of questionable too. Shelby Harris. It was a little bit of.
I mean, he be saying some wild stuff, bro. I think like Myles Garrett said something about Jawan Jennings telling another man at SMD. Like something like standing over him, telling him something like it's like crazy stuff, bro. Like what? You told another man that on the football field, bro. You'll get murked for that, bro. And if you guys don't know what SMD is, use your imagination.
Oh, okay, I got you.
Yeah. So
but,
yeah,
because a lot of people were criticizing Morrig too when he did that too when he came through and blindsided him, I guess. But I guess like he had it coming because the way they're talking about Juwan Jennings, like he deserved it, which is interesting because stuff like that will follow you around. Like people will your reputation will sometimes start building up with players, and I guess that was the following week too. Like literally last week this happened, and like the fact that happened.
There was a time he got into it with some Lions players. I think like one of the Lions players pushed him into the crowd. Another dude slapped him in the face when they pushed him in the crowd. Like he's been getting into it with people, bro, for like a minute. Yeah. He got to be doing something crazy.
I don't want him on the Raiders. I know he's a free agent. I don't want him on the Raiders.
And he stays hurt too.
Yeah, I don't want him on the Raiders, but that is a position in need, man. We need some outside receivers. For being honest,
look, man,
like
I'll take Brandon Ayuk before I take him.
Brandon Ayuk, damn. Hey, he might be a free agent, huh? Or I think they're gonna let him go. Yeah. But he's gonna go. He's probably gonna go.
I'm cool,
bro. Yeah, Ayuk. If the fact that something's wrong with the fact that he's leaving the 49ers should tell you everything you know. And he doesn't care that he's losing $25 million in guaranteed money. There's something wrong. There's something wrong with you. There has to be something wrong with you.
Something wrong with you, bro.
Like for you to think that's okay. Like
does he think he's just gonna get it, like make it up somewhere else? Like, bro, you're not, bro. You're not, bro. This is the NFL. Not for long. Ask Michael Thomas what happens if the league, decides to throw you away, especially if you're injury prone. It's like, bro, like they'll do you like that. Michael Thomas was still probably capable of playing in the NFL. Maybe not at the highest level, but he can make a roster. But just when you have that kind of attitude, they're gonna get rid of you, man. And that's a shame because like when Mike was on, Mike was one of the best players in the league at his position.
Francis, I didn't see anything. Let us know in the chat, man. I didn't see nothing on social media. Yeah, that was weird too. I'm not gonna lie, but I guess man, judging based off Shelby Harris, he's basically said he had it coming, like he deserved it. He deserved it.
He literally said he had it coming.
No, facts, man. We appreciate everybody coming through. Make sure to click and hit that like button, hit that subscribe, and hit that notification bell. Let's get to what's real, what's not, man. Severe, what we got?
What's real, what's not? You guys know, we make a statement and you guys tell us whether that's real or whether it's not. Went in a little bit of a different direction today. Want to see what people think. It's the answer to this question could lead us to what we think is this team will be doing down the stretch.
Okay.
And the statement is Colton Miller, left tackle for the Raiders, will play another game for the team this season. Colton Miller, starting left tackle for the Raiders, will play another game for the team this season.
You know what?
That question took a lot.
I'm gonna say it's real. I'm gonna say it's real. As long as Pete's the head coach, he's gonna try to get. He's gonna try to find a way to maximize his. Because right now he's trying to fight for his job. So as long as he's the head coach, he's coaching, he's gonna try to find a way. He's gonna try to find a way to win some football games. And how you do that is you try to put the best players out there. So a guy like Colton Miller, who he's been kind of optimistic that he's gonna come back this season. Not unlike JPJ. Like when JPJ names come back, he's he says he's far along in the process and things like that. But a guy like Colt Miller, he's all like, oh man, like we expect him to be back here soon and all this type of stuff. So, and I believe him. I think he's gonna try to get Colt Miller back out here, even though it doesn't make sense in our eyes because we're like, man, rest up, prepare for go into the off season and prepare for next season. And obviously it's a 2-10 season. Like it doesn't matter for you to come back and make it worse or even prolong your recovery process. But I think it's real. I think it's real. I think Pete Carroll, as long as he's the head coach of the Raiders, so if he gets fired, then everything I'm just saying right now, you can throw it out the window. But if he makes it through the end of the season without getting fired, I'm gonna say that Colt Miller is gonna be back out there.
Yeah, man, I agree, man. I think it's real. I think if Pete Carroll, it could be the last game of the season. Season is done. No chance of making the playoffs. Only thing on the line is pride and draft position.
Oh my
and Pete
God.
Carroll be like, Colton, we need you out there. We need you out there, Colton. We need you. And he will go out there and try to beat the Chiefs, man. And he might mess around and do it. If the Chiefs are eliminated from playoff contention, ain't no telling who will be playing at that point in the game. We might mess around and do something like that and beat the Chiefs and then go from like the 2nd pick to like the 7th pick. And that will be grounds for immediate termination. like Mark Davis should do the Pete Carroll with Trevon Merrick to Jawan Jennings if he does that.
Yeah, man. So Francis, oh man. Yeah. Look, I look at JT as a representative of the Raiders. To be honest with you, we're keeping it real. He says Pete deserves the right to another season according to JT because of legacy. Oh my God. Are you serious? Fuck, that's not a good sign. If they're saying, if they're doing that, like he's trying to control the narrative. Yeah.
That's when you know that Pete Carroll is on the way out. If you see the narrative flip in the media, especially like among some of the beat writers that we know are close, if you start to like hear them report more on, oh, this is dysfunctional and Pete Carroll's lost control, and once you see them start because that's like, hey, that's like them setting up. That's like a boxer throwing body punches. He's just setting you up for that knockout blow. So when you start to seeing them throw those body punches, like, oh man, this dysfunction is terrible, and there's a lot of this dysfunction in the locker room, and players are unhappy and they're unsure about when you start seeing that stuff, all right, they sharpening up the guillotine, and they got that black mask over Pete Carroll's head, walking him to the gallows. But if you seeing stuff like this, oh, he deserves another shot. Oh, come on, guys. These players just aren't that good, and this roster, and Spytek's a young GM, and he didn't have his coordinators, and you start seeing stuff like this, oh man, we in some trouble. We are in some trouble.
Man, what did he say? What did he say? He says he also blames bad players that barely get a chance to play. If a player falls off, they get cut. Let's welcome Pete to the NFL. This offseason, not for long. I gotta look into it myself, man, to understand the whole full context. But if what you're saying is true as far as that first part of him trying to kind of be in favor of bringing Pete, in favor of bringing Pete back, that's a message. That's a message for sure. Yeah. Ooh, man, that is disgusting. Disgusting. That'll be the straw that broke the camel back for me.
Man, I'm talking about if they won the game. Yeah. If
they win the game? Oh, damn. Yeah, for sure.
They win the game
at
the end of the year.
No, they're going to try to, man. I'm telling you. Pete's going to do some goofy stuff, bro. That's why certain guys, this is why, like, coaches get fired before the end of the season.
Oh, yeah.
It's because upper management sees the bigger picture, while the guy that's coaching is like, oh, I got to do whatever it takes to keep my job. And when it's game, they're like, oh, no, we can't have this.
Yeah, facts.
You know what I mean? So it is what it is. At this moment, I'd rather not draft a QB yet, trading back for an extra first and 20 might be play. Now, we got to draft a QB regardless. Even though I've said that I have been fourth best player BPA, I'm not saying don't draft a QB.
Yeah,
like it's too hard to, the quarterback position is too hard to get right, because you're trying to go, like, people are trying to go about it in like, oh, we're gonna wait for the perfect moment, and then no, you draft a guy in a second or third round or whatever the case may be, or even a fourth. I don't care. You know what I mean? If that's how the board or whoever's available, you got to draft a guy that has some talent, and then you never know. At some point he's gonna play that year, and if he shows something, you know, hey, you might run into a Dak Prescott situation. Yeah, it's possible. And guess what? If that doesn't happen, or he doesn't get on the field, or he just might be part of that quarterback room, and if you pick high enough, guess what? It's gonna be a no-brainer decision that if a young prospect is on a board, you're gonna take him, because a 4th round pick is not going to stop you from taking a guy in the 1st round. A 3rd round pick is not going to stop you from taking a guy in the 1st round. I don't know. It just makes too much sense. Like, the quarterback position is so hard to get right that you got to like invest resources until you get that guy in the building. So I don't know, man. The waiting for the perfect moment is just stupid. Because then now you're wasting all these years where quarterbacks can get developed. Like, oh man, that's the problem that I have with the Raiders.
It's the opposite of running back. Running back that's when you wait till you have other things in place, because you know what? Hey, let me maximize this guy's talent. Let me make sure I got an offensive line in place. I got some wide receivers that can kind of take the top off a defense, so they can't load the box on this guy. Like, let me do that. You know, that's why you see some of these guys leave the situation they're in, go somewhere else, and they're better, because you know that's part of the reason. So like David, like that, like I keep comparing Genty to David Montgomery. Like, you know, David Montgomery is with the Bears. He's like, David Montgomery, I don't know about David Montgomery. He goes to the Lions. Oh, David Montgomery's a good player. No, he's a good player. And, you know, like, that's where Genty's at right now, where, you know, some people are like, oh, Genty, you know, I mean, like you said, obviously you'd be foolish to call him a bust, but they're like, I don't think he's good, or he's not this or not that. And I don't agree with that. I think he's a good player. He's not good enough to overcome. You know, he's not good enough to create his own opportunities. And, you know, and that's just the reality for some players. And that's why, hey, David Montgomery, he's a damn good NFL player. He's just not a guy that's going to create a lot for himself.
Yeah. And just to, I guess, clarify too, like, if the Raiders are picking the top 3, there's no way that I see him passing on QB. They're not going to do it, bro. It's too much pressure.
Especially if you hire offensive, a young mind at offensive, or for head coach, young offensive mind. Oh, definitely.
I would respect the gangster though. If they did, I would respect it, but I don't think they have it in them to because the owner's gonna be in their ear, the fan base is gonna go crazy. Like, there's so much pressure for them to. No. It's not gonna happen. But if they still did it, and I would respect it, because then that means they believe in what they believe in as far as their philosophy and who they feel like is good. Like, that's what I want. I don't want people to succumb to pressure. I don't want people to make moves based off outside noise or owners who don't know anything about any building a football team or what a talented player looks like. They just know, like, oh, we need to go to quarterback.
Yeah.
Like just, you know, if the building doesn't, if like the scouting and the coaching staff doesn't believe in the guys that are up there, then there shouldn't be a reason why you should be drafting a guy high. And we've seen it happen before. McKenzie was picking 4th overall, and guess who was pressuring McKenzie to pick a quarterback at 4th? Number 4, Mark Davis. He wanted to get. Imagine if Derek Carr got drafted for.
Oh, instead of Mac. Oh, that would be disgusting.
Man, that would have been ugly. That would have changed that whole draft class. Like, because Mac was obviously the best player on the team for like his whole career with the Raiders. Like, it was not even close. But it might be all if we don't take a cue. Yeah, no, facts. No, facts,
Yeah.
man. That's why I'm not even betting on it. Like, it's like if they're in the top 3 or even top 4 or 5 or whatever, and like there's some 3 of these guys, because there's about two or 3 of the teams right now, as of right now, don't need a quarterback, I think.
Yeah. Yeah.
But then
Tennessee doesn't.
Tennessee doesn't.
That's the only one that for sure won't, I think.
But they can trade down though. They could trade down.
Exactly.
They can trade down.
Exactly. And that's and when you have as many holes as they have on their team, that's the obvious choice. That's what everybody wants, is to be able to trade down. But the where they're kind of stuck is they gotta hope one of these quarterbacks separate themselves enough to be worthy of a trade up. Because if not, then they almost have to just take like Bain or Reese at that point, and or one of the tackles.
Yeah, it's just Ty Simpson. I don't know, bro.
Yeah,
it's
I'm
like,
saying it's like Mendoza's probably not QB1, but like, are you trading your draft future for Mendoza? Like, I don't know about that.
Like, Dante Moore is probably the closest to like, okay, he looks like,
yes,
you know what I mean? He has the traits, he has the arm, he has the, you know what I mean, athletic ability, you know what I mean? He kind of like reminds me a little bit of like
Stroud,
like it's CJ Stroud, yeah.
Yeah, that's what I said. Like, to me, he's like Dak. He's like Dak and CJ Stroud.
Smooth, hella poise.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. Accurate. That's kind of like how he reminds me of. But
sneaky athletic. Like, he's like, okay, like he don't think he run, but okay, damn, okay, that was he a little faster than you think. So you know, and that's like, and look, and I think somebody, I don't know if it was McShay or somebody, but he said he's the best pure passer in all of college football. In terms of just
if you want to nitpick, his arm is not great. I think it's like good.
Yeah, it's good. It's good enough to succeed. It's like it's Joe Burrow.
Yeah, like it's
Joe Burrow level.
It's not great, but it's not one of those like, oh, it's like it's terrible.
Yeah,
it's
he don't got like a Matthew Stafford. Yeah, he don't got no Matthew Stafford or no like Josh Allen. But he also don't got no Gardner Minshew or no Aiden O'Connell, right? It's like Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow is good arm. It's like you ain't like wowed by Joe Burrow's arm strength, but he can make the throws that needs to be made.
So Moore would be the number 1 pick if he came out.
For me, well, I don't. It depends on what the team was looking for.
Hey, this week Mendoza got a big game though. I ain't gonna front. Like, if he balls out, you know, he got Ohio State. Because he's been passing the test a little bit, you know, because he's won. So he has some victories under his belt. Like, he beat Oregon, Dante Moore in Oregon. He beat them. Penn State's as a good, talented, you know, team that he was able to like come back from behind. I mean, obviously they're having a down year. Like, they're having a down year. I'm not saying that as a team, but I'm just saying, like, it was a close game. You were able to see him kind of like, you know what I mean, have that fourth quarter last minute drive, you know what I mean, and will them back at the end, you know what I'm saying? And it wasn't against like a terrible like defense. There's some talented guys on that defense or on that team. But yeah, this week though, this is like the biggest test. This is like the most, like, Ohio State's probably gonna be the closest team to the NFL.
Yeah, exactly.
Because so much talent on that team. So that's gonna be interesting to see how like he kind of like how he looks against them, and like because I think when players play against that type of talent, like, it's gonna, at first it's gonna be like, oh damn, like this, probably the speed. They're gonna have to adjust to the speed. I don't know how, but Indiana's a good team too. I'm not gonna lie, Indiana's a good team too. So it's gonna be it might be a sneak preview of the championship game. You know what I mean? So
possibly
might be a sneak preview, but we'll see. But would that change anything for you if you went out there and bought out? Because it's a long process. How you feel now might be different from how you feel by the end, like right before right when it's time to draft. Like, it's gonna be a long like process, because you're gonna probably go back and look at like, all right, what do they do? You know what I mean? There's not just this year, but last season, did they get better? You know what I mean? Like, what did they bring to the table? Like, you know what I mean? Like, pre-draft process, and then like, you know, like some of the big games. How do they play in big games and in close games and stuff like that?
Yeah.
So
if he balls out, like, would that help his stock, or would that make him look better in my eyes? Yeah, but I've been saying all along, my number one guy is Moore.
Yeah. It's just, you just I already know.
Bro, I can't see it, man. I just can't get behind it, man. Like, and it's not fair, but it's just like I don't know, man.
Man, it's crazy. It's like he's hella polarizing because people either hate him or they love him.
Yeah, and I say I don't hate him. Like I think he's the play. I don't mind the play. It's just like the other aspect, like how relatable are you going to be? How effective a leader are you going to be? Because that's like people discount that in the quarterback, and I think that's that's important. And I'm saying he's like a bad leader, but I don't know. It's just so like
you just hate the way he talks, bro. You hate the way
it's
he
just
talks.
fake.
Man.
It's just so fake, man. He's like so inauthentic, and eventually people that's gonna wear on people. Eventually people are gonna see through that. And so unless he starts to become a genuine person, like it's just so fake, bro. I just can't. It's like the Truman Show of quarterbacks, man.
All right, man. We'll see, man. And then we got one more. We got one more. What's real? What's not? We got one more. Or was that the only one?
Yeah, that was the only one. Yeah,
that was the only one. All right, man. Well, we appreciate everybody coming through. Make sure to clack in at this point. Clack out. Hit that like button. Hit that subscribe button. Hit that notification bell. Great show. Great conversation. Definitely appreciate all the calls. Everybody calling in and had some good questions. Good conversation. A lot of people wanted to talk about, especially. I didn't even expect some of the questions that people calling in. Some of the topics obviously the big heavy topic was Pete Carroll at some point in the conversation, and then there are obviously people wanted to talk about Christian. I think our first question was like Christian Wilkins, and stuff like that. But the JPJ situation too, you know what I mean? Like people kind of went back to that. These are big storylines throughout the year that we kind of forgot about. I forgot about the JPJ situation. I forgot about the Christian Wilkins situation. That felt like it felt like a long time ago, but that happened literally right before preseason, or right before training camp, around that time. So that was kind of like the beginning of like what's going on here, and then the JPJ situation we start noticing that situation right before the season, or during the season at least, like, or actually during training camp. We noticed it was like a battle going back and forth, and like, how long is it gonna last? Oh, okay. And went into the season, and then it's just, you got to question everything, man. When all this news is coming out and all the dysfunction that's happening with this team, like, you got to question everything. But we appreciate everybody coming through. We appreciate all the calls. We'll keep this going, man. I guess we'll make this a routine, because I know everybody wants to chime in, and there are some calls I didn't get to, but we'll have this. We'll try to keep this. We'll probably bring it back next week.
Yeah.
And we'll go from there. Severe, man, let the people know where they can find you, what to look forward to, all that good stuff.
Man, you guys know what it is, man. The Severe Raider here on YouTube, IG, X, Snapchat, TikTok, everywhere. The Severe Raider. I like your boy, man. Tuesdays and Thursdays, obviously, with my dog, PharoahNFL, Around the Shield, and the 50-50 show. And then Sundays and Wednesdays in the Raider War Room with Christian Protect the Shield and Real Talk Raider Nation. That's 805 Raider. I'm holla at your boy, man. I'm trying to get something popping on Monday. I promise y'all. I'm not trying to be a Pete Carroll. I got y'all. I'm not trying to be a Pistol Pete. So we're gonna get something cracking Monday. I'm also thinking of doing something. I was telling Pharaoh, I'm trying to set it up. Once I get better using StreamYard, set up something where, like, once a month it's a members only live situation where I send out the link to the members. Y'all can hop on cam and we can kind of discuss, basically anything, man. We can be Raiders, but yeah, y'all want to chop it up about some other stuff, man. We can chop it about some other stuff too. I talk boxing, I talk other sport, basketball, movies. Obviously, somebody been begging to talk about movies. I know who that is. Asking us to talk about movies forever. We can chop it up on some other stuff too, man. So yeah, holla at your boy. I don't watch a lot of TV though, to be honest with you. So if you're asking about the Stranger Things or like, I don't know, other shows people be watching. Like I don't be watching TV like that if it's not sports related for the most part. So, but yeah, we can get on cam and chop it up. That's still in the works. I'm still figuring out how to do that though.
There you go, man. Yeah, definitely check us out later this week around the Shield. This Thursday, hopefully we'll have a guest. We'll be able to chop it up and continue the conversation. And we'll be back here next Tuesday, 50-50 show. Be on the lookout for any new content by hitting that notification bell so you'll be notified. Also give us a follow on Around the Shield on X and IG. We appreciate the support. Everybody coming through, man. It means a lot. On the way out, if you, like I said, man, I got to keep reminding y'all. It's just I'm trying to hypnotize y'all to hit that like button, man. Hit that like button on the way out, man. We appreciate the support, man. It goes a long way by hitting the like button, hit the subscribe button, hit that notification bell. And yeah, man, we appreciate y'all. Different sandwiches. Oh my God!
I don't know what that means.
The name itself, like I can't even address you because the name itself is crazy.
Hey. Oh yeah! Oh my goodness! Oh yeah! I just realized that. Oh, that is wild.
Look, I don't even put it on the screen, man. I'm not gonna put it on the screen, man. Man, it's hey, man. Late night shows, man. It be sometimes it's like crazy people be coming out, man. It's all good. But what are you about to say, man? Like any last thoughts?
Nah, man. Hey, SS baby. Hashtag SS, man. It's a movement, man. It's starting to catch on. A little bit, man. Hashtag SS, man. Make sure y'all, anytime y'all talking to somebody, they talking about winning some games, hit them with the hashtag SS.
There you go. yeah, Chris. Exactly. All right, man. We out of here. Peace.
Just win, baby.
Hello? You play to win the game. You don't play to just play it.